Hello, and welcome to Token Minority Report on Unsafe Space. I am your minority, Beverly J. Clark, and today is Thursday, October 13th, 2022. And here with me tonight is my Pumpkin Delight. If you guys haven't had Little Debbie Pumpkin Delights, you are missing out because they are also in ice cream form, I found out. So now I'm just putting the Pumpkin Delight cookie with ice cream on top of it, and it is the best thing ever. Alex, Miss Sally.
Hi. Oh, that sounds delicious. I don't know what it is. I do like pumpkin flavored things. I know it's such a white girl thing. I'm not a huge fan of it in my coffee, but when it comes to like pumpkin pie and shit like that, oh yeah, I'm down.
I love pumpkin flavor, and I don't care if everyone calls it like the white girl basic bitch kind of thing, because sometimes they're right, you know? Sometimes they do have good taste. I love pumpkin spice. And I'll say too that like the pumpkin delights, it's just this cookie. It's not the most pumpkin-y flavor, but has like the little subtle spice with the pumpkin mix in it. It's subtle, but it's delicious. My 10th grade history teacher was super addicted to them, and he's the one who like brought them to class one day, and I've been addicted ever since as well. So 16ish years.
That's funny.
Hi Winky. Hi Raphael. Hi G-Man. Ugh, Winky says that pumpkin tastes disgusting. You know what? No one asked you. You may leave.
My room is haunted by a demon.
A demon cat demon.
Yeah. We are a pet cemetery situation here.
Says pumpkin is the food of the gods, the evil gods. Hi JB. I says that JB says not so into horror movies, and I'm watching Stargate Universe at the moment. So have a good day, everyone. Be back next time. Have fun. What's Stargate Universe? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's I don't know what that is. I love the old Stargate movie, but the TV show was never an interest to me.
Yeah,
I want
I need to watch it at some point. I just haven't. I still pretty much Star Trek, the original series, is like the only thing that William Shatner's my man. All right. Well, how are you doing? Well, with Missy, with your demon cat.
Yeah, I know. She's very cute and sweet, though. But I'm doing okay. I was like sick a few days ago with like the ear pain, but then I managed to make it go away.
Yeah.
God, it's back and forth, and if anything like changes with the weather, it comes back, and I'm like, God damn it!
Yeah.
It's so painful.
My one friend yesterday, stone skipping guy, he was having allergy problems too. Though I'm like, man, everyone around this time of year, it seems like.
Fall and spring, the worst times of the year to have.
And those are my favorite seasons. Oh, it's so unfortunate. What's also unfortunate, Alex, you already know this, but for everyone else, last night I got an email from my main internet service provider, and I have 3 of them. And the one that I use for streaming, because it's the most consistent, told me that because of new regulations, they're required to terminate all accounts that go over 1 terabyte per month. And my account is one of those. So I have 9 days now until I no longer have their internet service. So today I was like spending a lot of time trying to figure out, because that was a big issue. Like the first couple of months when I moved here, I was testing out a bunch of different ISPs and just had so much trouble. And so today I was trying to go through, I'm like, what's something I can use? Should I go back to the old one? Because they use cell phone towers and able to use the cell towers as internet, and so that was working. So I tried, because everywhere else like Verizon and AT&T, they generally say they don't provide at this location. And I was talking to my dad, and we use the AT&T SIM card though, and he's like, they have to provide for it. You're using it right now, so that must work because you have it. So I tried filling it out online, and they're like, nope, we don't, it's not working. It's not in your location. So I called them up and had to talk to them. I'm like, hey, here's my situation. And he said that, yeah, like you can get the SIM card, and so I had to go through like the process of like also getting a new phone that would work with that, because I needed a number attached to it. And then to get the SIM card, that should be here in a couple of days, so I'll test it out and see. So hopefully that'll work.
Fingers crossed.
I know. But also, I've talked to you about this before, how I tend to like learn a lot of information about people that I just meet.
Right, yeah.
So
how much did they tell you about their personal lives?
let me tell you about Carlos from AT&T. He was super cool. I actually liked him a lot, but he was trying to fill out, like, get the whatever, looking at my address and stuff too. And he told me, he's like, well, there's one thing about me is that like I hate computers, I think is what he said. And I was just like, I don't know if this is the right job for you then, Carlos. And he was saying like, no, I used to be an engineer, and he had this accent, which I assumed was like Hispanic of some sort, like his name was Carlos, and he used to be an engineer. And then he said, this is like pretty much how like he worded it. He said, I actually really like hand jobs. And by that, I mean working with my hands, like doing, like doing
not how that's said, though.
Yeah. And it didn't occur to me because I didn't catch what he had said at first, but then I said like, oh, I think he realized what he said, and that's why immediately he was like, and by that I mean,
Yeah.
So, and I just let it go, like I just let it slide, and like, oh, okay, because he talked about wanting to be like work on a farm or live on a farm or something, and I was like, that's me, I have that, I do that. So I told him about the chickens and geese and ducks and stuff, and so he got excited. We bonded over that a bit, and then
no, you said hand jobs and a bot showed up.
I knew it. I knew that was gonna I knew it was gonna happen, but that's not what they meant, bot. That's not what he meant. Carlos.
Yeah.
Let's see. Block user. How to block it. What else? So we went through and did like the whole process of the phone thing, and I had to buy like a $70 flip phone to go along with the SIM card. And what else did I learn about him? He thought my email was cool because I have my thedimside.com one. He's like, it's the coolest email, I'll never forget it. And we were talking about how I had to give my social security number, and later on, once we were done with that process, he was saying how like, we're like that's the stressful part, is like the contact information, like, you're stressed about it, I'm stressed about it. I'm like, I was stressed about this. Like when he asked for it, I was wondering, like, should I give this out? Like, is that something that they really need? And I almost didn't. And he started talking about how old people will get calls from AT&T saying, you'll get $300 off and blah, blah, blah. And they call AT&T and ask, and they have to like fix the, like, oh no, like you shouldn't have done that.
Oh, God.
So I was saying how I'm like, yeah, I was wondering. And I told him, like, if my identity gets stolen, I'm going to come back to you, Carlos. Like, we're gonna find out. And what else? He lives in Egypt. I found that out. Like, he's actually Egyptian and in Giza. I asked him if he works in a pyramid. He said no, it's just a normal building. I was really disappointed. His birthday is around Christmas time. I won't say specifically, did not dox it too much, but he said it's kind of difficult, having a birthday when everyone else is celebrating other things. It was about 90 degrees in Egypt today. What else? He has an uncle that lives in California and in West Virginia. 2 uncles, I mean. I just learned like so much. Oh, and he taught me some Arabic. So
oh, wow.
I know how to say Ahalan Ismi Beverly, which is hello, my name is Beverly.
I have a longtime viewer from Egypt, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about, because I said that I just mentioned I like cartoons that were like about Egypt, and it was actually Yu-Gi-Oh! The anime, because they have so I didn't get into
thinking Mummy's alive, but I am older than you.
Watched a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up, but I was like, I won't get into that detail because I don't know if he's into that. Although I did bond over anime with one girl from Hulu over the phone once, and I feel like I learned there are other things too about him, but yeah, so it was just nice. He was a cool guy. Now I know his birthday. I said if I'm ever in like West Virginia, I'll ask around. If I see any Egyptian people, I'll ask if they know a Carlos. He said if I'm ever in Geese, to go there, like go to AT&T and ask for Carlos. I was telling my boyfriend about it. He's like, "So are you guys like friends now?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm like friends with everyone." I told you about like the nurse before too that we stayed for like we talked forever. I'm like, this just happens.
Yeah, it does seem to.
So that was ended up being like as sucky as this whole internet situation is. I got to make a new friend today. So, and I just thought the the hand job thing was so funny.
He's
And
like,
like,
wait.
and I really didn't get it. Like, it just hit me afterward. Yeah, it's a. Oh, and the other thing too, I was like carrying some mealworms and dead mealworms and black soldier fly larvae to the back of the house because that's what the ducks eat. And so I was carrying like boxes of that, and I saw like what I thought was just like mud. It was dark in the hallway, and I thought like, here's this thing of mud that's on the floor. Like I got to clean that up, and I was in my bare feet, and then I walked by it again like a minute later. I'm like, oh, you're just a gigantic spider, huh? So it like gasped real quick. And then afterward, I was like, oh, I need to go get a cup or something to try it. So it took some time because it kept hiding in like corners and under a box and stuff too. So I was like scooped it up and tossed it. I'm like, work with me. I'm not trying to kill you, but I'm trying to get you out of here.
I would be trying to kill it.
I know you hate them. Well, you have the super deadly ones.
Well, so I'm in Arizona, so I assume most spiders I run across are dangerous.
Yeah.
But like back when I lived in Kansas, I had a different cat. He's deceased now, but like there was this one point I was in the bathroom and that opened right up into the big open kitchen, and I see him staring at the ground and like going in loops and circles and stuff, and I'm like, he's following a spider. Like no other bug moves this way. And he did kill it, but it was kind of funny because he was just like mostly following it.
So here's a picture of a bunch of those spiders in a bucket, and it was like the same type, but I'll just do.
God. I don't know that I want to see this.
Yeah, I'm gonna avert your eyes. So I don't know what kind they are, but they are just like so many, and they're big.
Those wolf spiders?
I think maybe, I don't know. Whenever I look up wolf spiders, they don't look exactly like that. So I'm just not sure because they're like browner than the pic. It was just dark the way I took the picture. So they ended up, I think they're more brown. But yeah, Wallace Williams says wolf spider.
Well, I mean, there's more than one kind of wolf spider.
So yeah, okay. So yeah, some sort of wolf spider then. Oh yeah. Alex, I like that you put in live in chat to Sleeper Cell, Jen, of whether this is live or recorded. So it's like, could have, without acknowledging it on camera, we could be lying in chat and just say it's totally live.
Yeah. It's over the fact that now we're reacting to it.
So I know. So that's because I wanted him to know. I wanted to prove ourselves.
Yeah, brown to gray and striped. The ones out here are gray, and they can get like this big.
Oh, okay. Like those are huge. I don't know. The bigger the animal is, the less I feel like I would want to kill it.
No. The bigger the spider is, the more I want to kill it.
I know. I'm like, I get it's the way of like, oh, when it's a big, like a rabbit or something, where it's just like, hey, I kind of want to take care. But then I think of a spider, like, hey, you're gonna just jump on my face and kill me. But I don't know.
I think this is a good segue into horror films.
Yeah. But I do like Wallace Williams saying just a pyramid scheme from earlier about the Egyptians. It's a good one. I like it. Yeah, what are we talking about first? We had Hellraiser. Okay.
Yeah.
Neither of us had ever seen the first Hellraiser. I've never watched any Hellraiser.
Yeah. The 1987 Hellraiser, followed by 9 sequels.
Didn't watch any of those, unless that's including the new thing. But this is more of a reboot.
No, this new one is not considered a sequel. It is considered a new movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Which one did you think was better?
I always have, like, the worst takes from everyone, compared to everyone, though, because I always like things that everyone hates. I actually liked the newer one more, and I'm not saying I liked it, I'm just saying I liked it more because I thought the old one was super boring.
I 100% agree with you on
Oh,
that.
okay.
Because okay, so the new one has a lot of work it's doing thematically about the psychology of the woman and like dealing with her addiction and everything. The
Yeah.
old one is kind of a mess and
I
doesn't like I don't
it's
really
like
know
yeah.
like it's like you're following the daughter that's not introduced for quite a while, but you're also following Frank from the very beginning of the movie, but then
Mhm,
you're really in the head of the stepmom, and it's like
mhm.
I don't know who is my main character really because there's a point where the dad Larry is going up the stairs and he's gonna find Frank in his gross state and um and the wife, I can't remember her name. She's trying to stop him.
Julia.
Julia. Yeah, Julia's trying to stop him. And I'm actually rooting for Julia in this scene. I don't want Larry to find
Yeah, yeah.
Frank. And I'm like, why am I don't think that that's how I should be feeling because this is just weird. This is so weird. And I can't tell who I'm supposed to attach to, really.
Mhm.
It was the movie was written and directed by the guy who wrote the story it's based on. So I feel like maybe
Oh,
it was better in its original form,
maybe, I
and
didn't
that
realize it was a story.
and it was better. He didn't know what he was doing maybe in the first movie, because
Mm.
it does feel like an amateur kind of film to me.
Yes, and I know we're gonna get a lot of backlash because everyone who like, they're all Hellraiser is great, and Winky's mad at us, I think, 'cause he says that it's brilliant, so I'm sure he's upset with our take on it. But I know, like, it has a big, following that, like, people really enjoy it, and I guess, like, I had no idea what it was going to be about, so maybe it was just, like, going into it with nothing. I thought it was gonna be someone who was, like, out raising hell and doing things, not just some guy in an attic that had, like, it was, like, a weird horror love story between this, undead guy and his brother's wife, and so it was just, like, a weird dynamic, and that they were terrible people, so, like, it felt like they were the main characters and were bad, like, they were evil, so, like, she was the worst one because she's just willingly like, "I'm human, and I'm just willing to sacrifice all these people for my lover, my affair lover," or I don't really know exactly the time frame of when she was with the brother, like, if she was already, because it seemed like
She was
she
They
was
were
married,
engaged. She was
or
engaged to his brother when they started fucking, I
was
think
it
is what
okay?
it
Because
is.
I
Because
thought,
they
like,
screwed on her wedding dress.
oh, okay, okay. Because like, I thought Frank said so when he, like, knocked at the door, he's like, "I'm the brother. I was there at the wedding," and I didn't know if that was her wedding or that was
I
but
think
I
he was saying he
remember
was there for the
for the
wedding.
wedding, so they just hadn't
Yeah.
okay, okay, that might make more sense. But anyway, that was weird where they just kept, like, cutting back to, like, the sex scenes, and then, and I was wondering, like, when is the more horror stuff? I don't know, it was, like, 45 minutes in before I thought, like, anything was really happening because it was just a lot of, like, weird flashbacks of her, like, in the house and, "Oh, the time that I slept with Frank over here." So,
I know, I know. Oh,
I'm
and
j
then, like, I did not like most of the characters,
yeah,
all that much, and I don't know, like I grew up with a horror sibling fan, and I think she watched these, but like I remember all these pictures and footage of the Cenobites,
yeah,
but they're
I thought
hardly in the
yeah,
first
I thought they
movie.
were way more important. I thought, like, the Benhead guy I thought someone was named Hellraiser. I really thought Hellraiser was the name of the bad guy.
It was
And then, yeah,
Pinhead.
yeah, and then and then when that wasn't I'm like, "Why is it called this?" Like, no yeah, no one's really, like, raising hell in, like, any sense outside of just trying to kinda get your body back, and I don't know, I was just not take, and I think maybe it helps too, like, oh, you see this Winky says, "I'm going to slap you both." But maybe watch it back then when there were less like, I've seen so many other horror movies that kind of I don't know, like, so maybe there's nostalgia glasses. I'm sorry, Winky, but, like, I feel like there must be some sort of, like, but
It's the botch the Hellraiser.
yeah, right. But I don't know, I thought it would be more than just in the attic. Like
I know it's like we didn't have much of a budget, so we did most of it in this
yeah.
one house. Like, they did film it almost entirely in that house. But
And then oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, like, I think the Cenobites look really interesting, and I'm
Not the
not.
only one.
Yeah,
Coley thought the same thing.
yeah, but I also don't. I'm not scared by body horror stuff, so it's not a thing that bothers me. You would think it would, considering I have blood injection injury phobia, but body horror stuff does not bother me, like, in the slightest. Though I will admit, I was eating at one point when I was watching this movie, and I literally just stuck a bite in my mouth, and then, like, at one point, I think it was Frank, he started all these things in his face, and then he looks at her and he goes, and it wasn't the hooks in his face and the fake blood and the latex, it was that motion with his mouth. I'm like, whenever they were doing stuff where they would open their mouths really wide and then lick their lips, I was like, that was the only thing that bothered me in the whole movie.
Yeah.
This is so gross.
I'm not the biggest fan of seeing, like, flayed anything. So when you're just seeing, like, skin removed or inside out or something, I'm just kind of like, I'm not afraid of it. I'm just kind of like, I don't really want to look at this though. It's just not. It is kind of gross when it's. I don't like the body. Like I think in Discord we were saying how we're like not into body horror. We like the psychological horror more, and I don't mind having some of it. I just want more, like, story or like the psychological part included, and then you can also have the physical body horror. But I don't want
think
that.
they almost, like, really had a theme, but it wasn't focused enough for me to really be a theme about, like, the, like, sexual appetites being, inappropriate sexual appetites, including Julia's obsession with Frank, her brother-in-law, and Frank's creepy way of saying "come to daddy" to his.
Why did he? Why would he also said it to Julia? Like early on, like he was saying, like, "Come to daddy," and I thought that's weird for him to say that to his lover. I mean, like, I know that was, but it was just the way he said it was creepy. And then when he was saying it to his niece, he said it also with, like, a question. He was like, "Come to daddy," and I'm like, why did you say it like that? Like, why are you saying it at all? And why are you saying it like that? Like, I just didn't understand the purpose.
They could have done a better job of tying something like that up to the horror. Like, that's actually why I like the new one better, is that her ability to say no to temptation in the remake, which isn't really a remake, it's a reboot.
Yeah.
Is closely tied to everything that's happening with the box and the temptation of the box. But we don't have anything like that really tying the whole weird sexual stuff to the box. Like, it's not really there. So and that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it as much as the new one.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was a line too, and the nurse said this told just like a tiny thing, but she said, "I won't be a moment." And I was wondering, should she have said, "I won't be but a moment"? Because when you're saying "I won't be a moment," that sounds like I'm gonna take a long time before I come back here.
You're right. That writing does not work.
And it bothered me. Just like that one line. I'm like, why? I was already upset by, like, the plot and other things too. Like, and now you have that dialogue.
I don't know. Maybe the later movies are better. And I get that the Cenobites themselves are so staggeringly different at the time the movie
Mhm.
comes out that it's
Yeah.
like it's a huge impact to you, um, like as a first time, seeing this. But like, I can't undo the fact that I was born that
That's
year.
what I'm saying, yeah. Yeah. But, like, that's why it's hard coming in from, like, watching older movies that, like, other people, I think they like because they saw that first before they've seen any other modern thing, but, we grew up seeing stuff like that a lot, and I'm just like, "Okay, I've already seen" even with Top Gun, we're like, "Oh, here are these amazing, like, the flying shots and stuff." Like, yeah, I'm sure that was, cool for the time when people were really in awe, but I've already seen, like, other we have a bunch of those things now, so it's hard for me to be as, like, emotionally invested in being impressed just because, I've seen it already.
Yeah, I know. Like, I mean, there is something to be said for, oh, it was amazing at its time. Like, I get it. Like, I agree with you that that is like the whole idea of the Cenobites is intriguing and interesting and everything. But I don't think they're utilized well in the first movie. That's my
Yeah.
real problem with it.
Yeah. Oh, apparently David Bowie thought it was weird even he thought it was weird. Um and George had mentioned too about saying like, "I could care less." Like, yeah, I'm like, "Okay, so that means that you care somewhat because
Yeah.
that means you can care even less." Um, yeah, so that movie happened and I was just like underwhelmed and then watching the new Hellraiser, I was just I already kind of had like low expectations, but that's what like I let me see what my notes are for here. Oh, first I'll say Voight, the human bad guy who had the box and stuff like that. He plays Colin, like a doctor or something, in the show Dollface with Kat Dennings and Brenda Song. So I was like, why does this guy look familiar? And couldn't get place where he was. But he plays just like he was a pretty chill doctor, like older man that Brenda Song was dating, and then found out that he was actually married though, and so he was not a great guy on that show either.
I
He was just worse. Yeah.
just I got a little bit confused about what you were talking about because when you said Dollface, I immediately started thinking about Dollhouse, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
as things get like worse and worse, I'm like, wait a minute, no, she's talking about a different show.
Dollhouse.
I liked it.
Yeah. I need to rewatch that. It's been so long. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Winky Winky Woo, even though you're mad. Says, I'm
He's
so going
threatening us
to
with violence.
XXX you both. Either violence or it's I guess it's not a triple X, so it's not four X's makes it more threatening.
Yeah,
Oh, he
Cory.
says that it's a slap. Yeah,
Yeah, and I love Cory when she wrote the censoring made it so much worse.
Yeah, like what could it be?
Like what four-letter
Yeah,
word
there's
could
so
go
many.
there? There's too many options.
It's awesome. Well, thank you, Winky. Whatever you're threatening us with, we appreciate the money. I'll take money over along with threats. That's fine.
It wasn't great.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this escalated quickly. What else happened?
We were talking about the new one.
Oh yeah, Riley, the main girl. What is it with everyone? It seems like with She-Hulk and Riley, I'm like they're all going for like super curly-haired main lead women now, and I
It's like
don't.
a 90s thing. In the
Yeah.
90s, like adult women like had crazy perms and shit, and they thought they looked good or whatever, and
90s is back right now too with like
yes.
dress wear, so maybe that's what it is because and none of it looks good on anyone. So
Nope.
I can't wait till this decade is over.
I
Uh,
know. A
also, oh,
90s style is just awful, and I'm so
yeah,
sick of it.
yeah. I just don't understand why like the mom jeans, why anyone like they're specifically called mom jeans because it's like, oh yeah, they don't really care about what they look like now, and so they've got like the high waist and stuff too. But now apparently it's fashionable. I don't know, but um, also Riley's lips. I kept being
Oh,
distracted
yeah.
by them because it just looked like it was her lips were like smeared up above her. the whole time, and
Yeah, her face is distracting. I feel bad
yeah,
for her.
yeah, it was. I mean, like, I guess it's not hurting her. She got a lead role in something, but it was definitely hard for me to pay because I just kept looking at her lips.
I know. I did too. I was like, wait, is she talking?
Yeah,
I
like
see
trying
that
to
her
rip
lips are
her.
moving. I can't hear her though.
Yeah, well, Wallace, 80s perms. Yeah, I just don't. It's too much.
Well, there's a reason why I keep my hair short. It is that bad.
That's what you said, yeah, that it gets very curly, and I mean, like, I don't think it's necessarily bad on everyone. It just got like I don't even on Riley, like it almost would be good. Like I think I think the bangs or however it was done, like it was almost good, but I just think it's interesting how like it's really a style now that Hollywood is going for.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a fan. Okay, well, I mean, to some extent, putting it on her makes sense because the idea is that she is a recovering drug addict. So maybe appearance is not the thing she's best at because
That's
even
fair.
her clothes are pretty schlubby. So, like, this idea that she doesn't take care of her hair makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. What else happened in there? There was a I have to keep scrolling. Oh, I didn't I remember reading something and then I didn't actually pay attention during it until the end where they made Pinhead like it was played by a woman named Jamie Clayton, right? And
Yeah.
I don't understand the choice in doing that outside of just like a woke thing. Like I don't know if I mean, but then I thought it didn't super matter. Like I thought it was just a gay man the whole time when
You
because
did?
of
I know.
yeah, like, 'cause of the list, like, there was a thing like, I just thought so I didn't even recognize, um,
That's funny.
and then I'm like, "Oh, that's supposed to be a woman," like, I couldn't even tell that it was a woman, though, like, the way
I
that it's just, like, the baldness of everything on the head and the voice, like, the way that it was just, modulated enough where I was like, "Oh."
What I noticed is that most of the Cenobites were women this time, and I
Yeah,
thought
I
that
noticed
was
the other ones were
weird.
women.
Like, the original only had 4 Cenobites. This one seemed to have way more, like,
Mhm.
including the Chatterer again. Maybe because that sound is so directly related in people's minds to Hellraiser that they're like, "Well, we have to have the Chatterer." You know, like,
Yeah.
you can't forgo it. But, like, yeah, it seemed like pretty much all there was a lot of Cenobites this time, and most of them looked like they were women. The one with the weird thing around her head with the her rearance splayed. Whenever they gave a full body
Oh.
shot of her, I totally I just my eyes just zeroed in on what was going on in that crotch because it was fucking awful.
Right there. Um, yeah, I don't know, it seemed I guess it was like, oh, it's weird in that it made me wonder, like, okay, it's just a reboot, so, like, nothing else had existed, so this is just a new universe where, like, that's okay, or then it also made me wonder, like, did this exist? Is this just in the future? And, like, are these types of monsters or whatever, demons, just also in the same form? Like, oh, you're taking on the Leviathan form, you're taking on this, so, like, oh, is it just different people who happen to, like, have the same type of form because there's just only so many? So was just curious. I did like at the end where the guy did be turn into the Leviathan form and then just like, well, I mean, it was gross. I didn't really enjoy watching it, but I just thought, oh, he gets to be that kind of like angel thing where it kind of made it look
Yeah.
like sort of heavenly in the most disgusting way possible.
And I think they were turning him into a new Chatterer.
Is that what he yeah, I guess so, like, when
Yeah.
his mouth just
There was
ripped
some nice
open.
symmetry going on and stuff like that. Like I noticed that one of them, and the one that had the like stuff over its face and everything,
Mhm.
had the same like device in its chest that he did.
Oh, yeah, mhm.
Like it was the exact same device. So I don't know. I feel like they were trying to like create rules without necessarily telling us what all the rules were. Like they actually had ideas about what how everything worked, but they didn't want to like So they have the groundwork for it all in there, but they didn't like have someone come along and say, by the way, that's the same thing that's in the other Cenobite's chest, you know, like telling us shit
Right.
that we don't need to
Right.
necessarily hear.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe having more context with the other films would have helped too, because like you said, like maybe they got better, like if it's because the Cenobites are more involved, so you get to have like a deeper knowledge of what's going on, but because they just weren't involved enough. Like I was more interested in seeing them as being around, and um, yeah, I like the new film because I liked the sort of the plot, I guess, like, the goal of, like, here's your main character who has a goal that you're trying to reach within the film, get your brother, back, just try and say, like, just get out of this mess and stuff too, where, like, you have the protagonist, and the first one really felt like the protagonists were, what's like, they weren't active. I can't think of, like, the right phrase for it, but it was just kinda like, "Oh, you're just kinda hanging there because you just had the antagonists were the ones that we were
The
focused on
passive.
all the time." Yeah, passive,
Kirsty
thank
was
you, that's it.
incredibly passive throughout most of the
Mhm.
movie. That
Yeah.
was so, which made her not a great protagonist.
Yeah, and, like,
And
I
the
just don't
movie
care about you.
mostly follows Julia and Frank.
Mhm. Yeah, so then and you're like, "You guys suck, like, I don't care about watching you."
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and
so
then, like, when it came, it's not just that the new movie has a where she has a goal. Like, she has a real world goal of getting her brother back. That's what, but the actual what she has to decide is that she's not going to give in to temptation.
yeah.
The temptation to, oh, get something you want, but really it's not what you want. It's going to be something awful. And it's like, well, that's about drugs, which she's
Mhm.
clearly got a problem with. And
Right.
and so, like, that's the point of the movie. And it's like, thank you for actually putting some idea into this psychologically, because you have a character who goes through a freaking arc and grows, and it's like, yes, that, you know how rare that is these days.
Yeah. I just also don't understand I mean, maybe just because I'm not in that power hungry kind of way, but, like, the antagonists who are always, like, even Frank from the beginning, and then, what was his name again? Voight in this one. We're like, "Why?" Like, he's like, "I wanted pleasure. That was the thing, the wish that I wanted, but they don't give pleasure, they give pain." Like, why would you want that? Like, when I'm just trying to think of, like, if I wished for something, like, I'm wishing for the idea of pleasure, of just, like, I'd want maybe more, like a tangible a thing that might give like, but just this ambiguous idea of pleasure. I'm like, I find that in many other things. Like, I don't understand like that the
Well, they did that.
concept.
Yeah, I know they do that, and there's so many horror stories where the idea is what you wish for is interpreted in such a way that would be a negative.
Mhm.
The Wishmaster movies did it too. It's like really hard to, like, the essential genie stories or jinn stories. They do it as
Yeah. Oh
well.
yeah. Anytime
It's,
we trip
yeah,
you in.
and it's like, well, that's what the Cenobites story is essentially like a gin story, that it's like, oh, it's a magic box that you open and then it's fucking awful. Like, it's
Mhm.
not what you, it's like what you consider pleasure is not what they consider pleasure. They're giving you their version of pleasure, which Rick and Morty made fun of.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, where, and he's like, you gotta, and like, what did Rick do? He like switched the pain and pleasure receptors in his brain so that, like, if they tortured him, it would feel good. So he's just like, oh, it feels wonderful, or
Uh-huh.
something like that. And it's like, yeah, there's a way to, circumvent that. And Frank even says in the first movie that it was like the sensations of pain and pleasure were so close that he couldn't tell the difference anymore.
Mhm.
And it's like, that guy was already a sadist, so
Yeah.
that's not a huge leap for him, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like, I don't know that I would want to watch a bunch of Hellraiser movies.
I
Is
know.
the like takeaway for me anyway.
Me neither. On the wishing thing, it just reminds me of I don't remember if it was a genie or something, but in the cartoon Adventure Time, they had an episode, and I can't remember, maybe they were like hot dog people or something, and the one wished, "I wish that I would blow up." oh, like get big, but before you can like finish saying like, no, I mean like get big, he just explodes. All right, wish done. So yeah, I always like that we're because in What We Do in the Shadows, and was the newest season, whichever one that oh shoot, I can't remember his name. The warrior one who has Guillermo as his familiar, but I'm
Oh, I know
forgetting.
who you're talking about.
But he opened the genie lamp and he just had a bunch of wishes, but he like wasted so many because he had 1,000, but like he would wish, but he had to be like super specific on stuff too. And the djinn would just kept saying how like, oh, like it's a good thing. Like he went through like, I think he changed his penis size. He wanted it larger, but they like went through like pages and pages of like, here's the specificity, and the djinn went through it all, and he's like, you did a good job on this. They're like, I was gonna get you, but like you added in all the right stuff. So like they didn't have any negative side effects to it, except for, I think it was something. I think he said he included something because his familiar Guillermo, he was saying how like, I'll think of you like for helping me out. I'll think of you. Think with this penis, and that was included in the wish. So like every time, like he would start thinking of Guillermo when he was getting like aroused. So
Oh
it's
my
like the one
God.
thing that the djinn got him. I love the djinn, and because he'd always just have a pen, he'd like click
Oh
his pen,
God.
like the wish is done, because he'd just have a pen and a notepad.
That's funny.
Just like the nerdiest genie ever.
Someone brought up monkey paw, and that's
Mm,
another good one. Yeah.
mhm.
So be careful what you wish for is a I mean, that phrase means something, and there's so
Yes.
many stories that tell you why.
I've done it in D&D too. I've had like a genie give them like small wishes and stuff, but they have to be specific because I'm like, as DM, I constantly want to mess with them. So like even when they're not wishes, it's just anything that they like say dialogue or like make a joke or something like, well, now I'm gonna run with this and try and screw you over in a funny way. So then they're always careful with it. The one wish that they kept debating on was that because the majority of them wanted to wish for infinite sandwiches, and they were like, does that mean like nonstop sandwiches or just one long sandwich that just keeps like coming out of like a hat forever? And
That's so funny. Well, I mean, I don't really have much more to say about the new one.
me neither.
So how about you pull up the IMDb thing? Because
Sure.
I wanted to laugh about that. This
Hellraiser,
is
Hellworld. Okay.
this is from the 8th Hellraiser movie. And the thing that makes me laugh so hard about it is that, like, oh, I don't know if it works
Click
on
on.
this.
Oh, is it different? Not on the computer.
On the computer versus mobile, but like, so there's all these photos
Can I
on
click on photos here?
that they do the photo crawl that you can swipe through on your
Oh,
phone and everything.
is it
So the funniest thing about it is that like it's not her. It's not going to show them to you, but they pick them. They pick what photos they're going to show you.
Oh, okay.
They
Sorry. This
front
one gives
load
all
them,
of them.
and pretty much every single one of them was a picture of Henry Cavill.
Really?
I am not kidding. They're like, Henry Cavill's in this movie. Henry Cavill's in this movie. Henry Cavill's in this movie. Watch this piece of shit 8th Hellraiser top, sequel because
I didn't even know he was
Henry
in it.
Cavill's in this movie.
It's amazing.
He's not even like in the top build cast, but they're like
Yeah,
Henry
I
Cavill.
don't even see him.
He's 5th.
Oh, there he is. I was like, where is he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I keep thinking he's gonna be blonde from Witcher.
Oh yeah.
I keep forgetting he's not.
I love him, but this was so early in his career.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but now that
And
he's big, it's like, hey.
yeah, they're like, everybody pay attention. And it's like, the way I figured this out is that I was trying to find a GIF from Hellraiser to put in a tweet. And as I was scrolling through, I'm like, what the fuck is with all these GIFs of Henry Cavill? Like every single one of them.
You need to get it up on your phone and then show us as you
Yeah, I know.
scroll through.
Yeah, and then I went to IMDb and I looked up him. I was like, what is going on here? But yeah, Hellraiser, World. Like I said, it's the 8th movie.
Right, and then Here's Winky's asking, have either of you watched With Neil and I yet? No, I need to write that down.
So yeah,
okay,
you can
hang on,
see that there's Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill from the same scene. That's not Henry Cavill. But yeah, like Henry Cavill. They're like, pay attention, it's got Henry Cavill in it. And I'm like, how many scenes is this guy in? He can't be in that many scenes if he's not even top billed. Like, and the story is so stupid. Gamers playing Memorpica based on the Hellraiser films find their lives endangered after being invited to a rave, the host of which intends to show them the truth behind the Cenobite mythos. It's like, this is so stupid.
I also see G-Man, I wish for an ancient psychic tandem or elephant. Nice reference. He's seen the show. Let me see, just looking at chat. King of Sanity says, I want to make a horror movie about a monster that eats butt and dies of dysentery. G-Man also thinks you're obsessed with Henry Cavill.
I mean, he's really hot, so.
It's fair. It's true. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say on Hellraiser. Maybe at some point I will watch the rest of the films because they just because I like psychological zombie and ghost horror, so it just never really intrigued me that much. I'm trying to find where's my notes on the movies that I've been watching because what has been this month? I don't even think I've finished writing everything down. Countdown, Fear Farm, Super Hot, Truth or Die, Wolf of Snow Hollow, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Smiley Face Killers, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, Bloodfest, Killer High, the Hocus Pocus movies. So I've just been really like cramming them in there. Well, I guess, do you want to do some of these tweets now and then get into the other things?
And then talk about the other two movies, yeah.
Okay, which tweets are I'm just going to go from left to right like we did in Occasional Levity where I'm like, here are all the things up. I'm going to show them all. So this isn't horror related, but we're going to just bring up the movie Bros for a minute. And I like the image that you have here that just says movie targeting 2% of Americans fails at box office by Babylon Bee. Or as Alex likes to say, the Babylonian Bee.
Yeah, I know. So wait, me and Beverly talked about this a lot about Bros and why it failed in our private Discord because I actually did research and I looked into how rom-coms perform and like rom-coms led by a man with a man on as the biggest actor on the poster always don't do as well as the opposite of that. Ones that are led by a woman with a woman big on the poster make as much in the first weekend as the male-led ones make for their whole run in the movie theater. So it's so this idea that a rom-com with no women in it would be successful is just crazy to me.
And it makes so much sense too that of course that women want to place themselves in when you're watching a rom-com like you like the romance for it and it's harder to do that. I mean, I don't want to sound hypocritical because like it's not like you can't do that because people will be like, well, that's why you need to have like a black person in to like show a black. But I think there is still a difference in like gender though compared to like race because like I can see and it also depends on like I can see like in a comedy like Will Ferrell, like I want to be Will Ferrell, but it's not in like about a love story. Like I don't want to be him like falling in love with Zooey Deschanel and Elf kind of thing. Like I just want to be funny like Will Ferrell. So there's a difference in that so the same thing where like this black person or like I'm this white person on screen is like this cool super tech guy, but I'm black and I can't relate to that. Like, no, like you can, cause like it doesn't matter, but the love interest, it's more about the woman is going to be falling in love with a straight man, like I would be kind of thing. Like, so that's why it's more relatable to that.
When I watched the trailer for it, and he literally says in it that like, oh, a rom-com about two gay men won't be the same as a rom-com about a straight couple. And It's not, and it's in a bunch of stuff like that it's like you're basically underselling this movie. You're basically telling everybody not to watch it.
Yeah. You should say that, like, it's gonna be very similar to it, though, like, women and everyone can understand this and, like, relate to the love story that we're gonna tell, and it says Billy Eichner here, whose name I always forget. I just have to describe him as the flamboyant gay guy from Parks and Rec, 'cause
Screams on the street.
yeah, who just always, like, screams. But I thought he was, like, he was funny enough on the show, but then it was just like, "This is everything you do," and, like, that just became a lot. I think I mentioned it might have been off screen or off air, I liked him in Friends from College with Keegan-Michael Key 'cause he was just toned down, he was more subtle. I think he was engaged to Fred Savage's character, but, like, he kinda just had, like, the straight man role of it, and I thought I liked him as a character because he just wasn't screaming the whole time. And he says here in this tweet that we didn't make the movie for homophobes anyway, which is what they always say, like, oh, you're racist for not liking this, you're homophobic for not liking this. It's not that it can't just be bad.
Yeah. And that was the other thing, undermarketed in the first place. I didn't hear about it until he was bitching about its failure.
Yeah.
Literally didn't even know it existed until Billy Eichner's out there going, "You straight people failed me." And I'm like, I think the marketing department at the studio also failed you.
I saw one Hulu commercial for it, and I was like, and it was coming out tomorrow or today or whatever it was, though. I'm like, that was very last minute.
Yeah. I don't think they really marketed it at all. So
I forgot to put this up earlier, but G-Man said, "Oh, Bros is horror related." When I said horror related.
Well, and chat makes a good point that Queen did do well.
Which one's Queen?
Queen is the biopic.
Oh, yeah. Of Queen. That makes sense. Yes. That's a good name for it.
Yes, it is. I've not seen it yet, but I know the actor who played him. Like I've seen him around in other things.
Okay.
But maybe I'd like it better than Elvis because Elvis made me want to blow my fucking brains out.
Wow. That's an opinion.
Yeah. I had to stop watching it every once in a while because it was so.
It did just take forever. Yeah, I think we mentioned it took like 4 days for us to watch it independently.
Yeah. I know. I love Queen though, so I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I'm just worried about biopics and whether or not I actually will like them because I often think that they're not tight enough.
I'm glad you pronounce it that way because I think I always want to pronounce it biopic, but then I think every time I hear other people say it, they say biopic, and I'm like, that just does not sound as cool. Like biopic sounds like it's epic. If you're telling a biography of someone, I want it to be epic. So along the lines of people not liking stuff for the woke reasons, so you're homophobic or racist, DC Comics announces the cancellation of Tom Taylor's woke Superman son of Kal-El series. And then there's a picture of Superman and his, was he a fiance then? Like his, I think it's like Asian pink-haired male fiance.
I never read any of it, and I tried to avoid it.
Yeah, I think when I clicked on the article, I think that's what I had seen, but I don't even remember for sure. But yeah, it's and then I think I was saying similarly to the rom-coms being for women, comic books are mostly for males, and most of them happen to be straight because like they're gay people are still a smaller percentage out there. So like even if the ones even if they still like comics, they're just going to still be a smaller percentage of like who are going to be interested in this series because especially the straight men probably aren't as interested in a love story with Superman. So I think that when you have Lois Lane and stuff in the past, that was probably more for like women to get interested in him as a superhero series. And then too, like it's similar in the sense that like women want to see like themselves in whatever like straight relationship. If they're straight, a straight guy is not going to be as interested in seeing a gay relationship though, because that's just not as relatable.
Yeah.
And then I bet like it's just and outside of that, like, because I think some of those might just be kind of subconscious stuff. They might not be like, I'm not going to do this because I'm not as like it could be, but I think sometimes people just might not realize,
I
like, notice why.
Yeah, I think someone goes, "Oh, this doesn't really seem interesting to me."
Mhm.
Like
They don't like think
that's
about
like
it. Like,
that's
yeah.
the like peak of their thought process upon seeing the
Mhm.
content. They're like, not for me.
Yeah, because
Just
like
that.
this he's like, an almost perfect superhero, and then this is the image that we see a lot about Superman, though. Like, no, shouldn't he be like fighting bad guys and doing something cool? Like, this doesn't pull in people who are here for like
Should he be
superhero.
lifting a
Yeah. That's a
Volkswagen bug above his head or something?
At the very least, if you're gonna show like, hey, here's this like romantic dynamic between them, like maybe show him saving his love interest by doing something super cool, because like that might draw in attention, but not instead of like, oh, here's just this picture of them kissing. Like,
Yeah, I don't think
maybe
anyone cares.
uh-uh.
Yeah.
Unless you zoom out and all of a sudden there's just like, he knocked down a building and now they're kissing till like after he saves the day like that, but then don't zoom in, show that part. Like that would actually be cooler.
Yeah. I know.
Uh,
It's the thing is though is that they're just skin suiting it and it failed. Skin suiting
mhm.
is not a lucrative process actually. And that's the part that always makes me laugh is that there's always this idea that like, oh, we'll because they have no choice in content because this will be the only Superman comic coming out right now. They'll have to buy it if they're Superman fans. And it's like or they just won't. They'll look at all the old content they already have. They don't have to buy it. That's
Mhm.
that's the problem is that they feel like the fans owe them their money, and it's like they really don't.
I have to disagree a little bit about skin suiting not being lucrative, though, because it did seem to work for the Hellraiser films as he's trying to, like, get his skin back.
Oh god. Okay, I
Uh,
see what you mean.
Winky also says, "Make your own gay superhero, leave existing ones alone, FFS." Which, yeah, that's the same thing for, like, racial changes, too. For me, like, when you're an iconic character, like not only with looks, but it's just like here's like you're known for being this character, how you look in a certain way, and I think it's like, you shouldn't be changing them up just for the sake of like trying to get the woke points, though. Um,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, just make a new one, but then you're only using it like, oh, we've got the brand though, so we're trying to like we're trying to preach about this while using the brand's name, and then it's not going to work because people don't like being preached to either.
Nope,
Unless
they
you're, like,
don't.
going to a temple of worship thing where you're, like, willingly there to have someone preach to you.
Yeah, I know. If someone literally, if I'm in a bookstore and someone stands on a soapbox to start yelling at me about stuff, like I'm sorry, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
like one of the freaking people in the store just starts screaming at me about how should think about things,
yeah,
and this idea that oh I should buy money, I should pay these people money or and listen to them and it's like, no, I could just leave. And that is actually not that far off from what really happened to me in the indie bookstore
mm,
uh, here in Phoenix. Is that they just got so damn preachy. I literally stopped going to all their events and giving them any money. Like and it was like, you're not making it fun anymore. I'm here to talk about books, and you've ruined that. So bye. Like it was like, and that's the thing is that they forget the fact that we're when it comes to entertainment, we're not here to be preached at.
mhm,
We didn't walk into your little church. We walked into your store, and if you're or the idea of your store, whatever product you're selling, and if you're not there to like give us the thing we're there for, which is entertainment, well then we're not gonna
right.
keep giving you
And
money.
that's what the idea of entertainment is that, like, this is extra, this isn't where, like, this is not serious, and what you're dealing with life, like, entertainment is something that, like, makes you happy and, what you enjoy without having to, like, think of, like, here are all the the values and stuff that I should be having. Stevie J says, I would decline being saved by a straight Superman. So like if you're like on the lookout first, you're like, I would get that. Send him away. Like, yeah, if I would feel the same way too. Like, oh no, I want that hero over there. Like, let them save me. Also Stevie, he's asking where's Juliet, and I'm like, well, I have invited. I told her like if she ever wants to talk about the things that we're talking about, she's totally welcome to come talk. But we three do the streams on Fridays to talk about like real news, not necessarily pop culture, entertainment stuff. Where was it? Oh, and Wallace Williams says Sandman, totally gay, totally a huge success. I didn't realize Sandman was gay. I've still only seen the first episode though, but I didn't realize that was the direction.
Or do you mean the comic books?
Yeah, I don't know how much they stick to it too.
Yeah, I don't like. They spent too much time in the 20s. That was my thought in the first episode. But anyway, like it was just too much time. I was like, where is the adventure of Sandman getting back all his shit? That's what I was here for. He means the comic. Okay.
Oh, okay. They don't show that in the show then?
It surprised me that Gaiman did a lot of gay stuff. I used to read a lot of his work. So
really?
Yeah, I did. He never really cared a lot about like that kind of stuff, so he was always totally fine with having all these gay characters. This is Superman related, and I I love it because I was like, what you? So it's from this guy named Jalen, and he says, this was one of my two problems with this movie. It's a Superman movie that came out recently this year, and Superman says in it, standing for truth, justice, and the American way. And I was like immediately like, you mean that thing Superman has always said?
It's just this movie that that's a problem though? I don't know.
And this guy is getting dragged because everyone's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like you just revealed yourself as not being a real fan of Superman. Like,
yeah, right? You can't even hide it.
This thing that is so old with Superman. Like, I mean, it's surprising me. Yeah. I literally did say it.
The thing that I did not notice when I was looking at this beforehand, though, is that Superman's flying with a bunch of geese behind him. Now I'm even more pro Superman than I was before. Yeah, represent. Honk.
Yes.
Hello, Elias. Oh, Axel's also asking, what do you think of the new Marvel Wolf at Midnight? I hadn't even heard of it. What's that? Wolf at Midnight? I'm not seeing anything. I see Midnight Wolf, a Shifter's Unbound novel. Have you heard of this, Alex?
No, I haven't. I don't know what it is.
Man Wolf at Midnight, Werewolf by Night. I see Werewolf by Night and Man Wolf at Midnight. You let me know what you're talking about, Axel. But all right, what else do we have on here? We've got, that was Jalen. Thank you, Jalen. Oh, speaking of Marvel stuff, though, now, good segue. We'll do this She-Hulk thing real quick. What is this one? Yeah. She-Hulk joins her list of the best shows of 2022.
From Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, from Rotten Tomatoes. And you can trust Rotten Tomatoes. Totally. Their critics are always Werewolf by Night. That's what he... Okay. Wolf at Midnight and Werewolf by Night. They're very close. which real quick too, of horror movies, I watched, what was it? That was the Werewolf of Snow Hollow. No, it was Wolf of Snow Hollow, and then that one that was about whatever the name of that one was, about werewolves, Werewolf and Chocolate or something. But then the one about werewolves, with the name of it, they just turned into regular wolves, and I didn't like that. Then Wolf at Snow Hollow was actually a werewolf. Well, werewolf. I won't spoil the thing, but like it looked like a werewolf monster. I'm like, why can't you like name the right words in your titles? But for She-Hulk, I'm like, this is October, and I was trying to think. I'm like, I do think it's a fun show. Like I'm enjoying it well enough because it makes me laugh. but best show of 2022, like, are up there, and then but then I was also trying to think, have there been good shows that came out this year? And I can't think of, like, any shows that are current that are new. I don't know, is this just new shows that have come out or just this year of any show that's airing right now?
I think it's any show that's airing right now.
Oh, then I would
And it
probably say no.
yeah, I'm just it's I don't know how you could think it was 80 like an 87% good TV show. Like in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first, like even if not a lot is coming out right now, I still don't see how it's worth that high of a grade. Honestly, I'm like, I'd give it a D. I haven't watched the last episode, but yeah, I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, I think I'm still 2 episodes behind now, I keep forgetting because it's October, so I'm just not watching much,
yeah, I know, me
uh,
too.
outside of watching a little bit of Nailed It earlier today. But
But yeah,
but
I'm just
Army
not
of
a
the Dead was 2.5 hours, it took up so much time.
yeah, it was a lot of time. It took me a while to get through that one too, but I had so many questions the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's that clip to the comedian. Maybe we'll save some of these ones for later. Oh, we'll just do this one. Where is it? The Lizzo thing.
Oh yeah.
Or it just says Lizzo on her crossover success. I am not making music for white people. Just since that coincides with like it's
Really,
not
I
for
get it.
homophobic people. It's not for blah blah blah. And then I'll note when I am my proud zinger though too, because I was saying and when Alex posted this in Discord because I said something about how like I always forget that Lizzo exists. Like I never remember that she's a person. And then I said that which is maybe kind of weird because she takes up so much space.
Yeah.
Which
I
yeah,
saw
hmm.
yeah, God. But I saw someone say that like they went to a Lizzo concert and it was like mostly white women. Because
Yeah,
like
I bet. I mean, I just I don't know her music. Is it more poppy or is it
I have no idea. I'm not
okay?
interested.
But I'm just not surprised that like yeah, the white women go to concerts and things though.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I'm like honestly, it was kind of funny. Just like I think a couple years back, someone I knew was like, "Oh, I'm going to concerts." I'm like, "What concerts are you going to?" This is a white woman. She's all like, "Jason Derulo," and and like, "Oh, Kanye," and like there was all this stuff, and I'm like, "Wow!" So like like most of the people I know who go to these concerts are not black people, and I do know
mhm.
black people, and I'm like, and
Alex has black
like,
friends, everyone, so she's
and
not
it's
racist.
but like some of the black people I know are not from the US originally.
Mm,
So like I can't like their taste is not going to be the same as
sure.
black Americans that were raised here and who were several generations here. So it's like but I'm like I I am curious to know what the breakdown is of like these artists who are getting kind of mean.
Mhm. And will
Like
the fans stop supporting them when they're because like
yeah.
similar like you don't want to be yelled at for being racist that happened at Second City comedy theater, where like their shows they just kept preaching and kind of showing like white people are racist, and then they'd walk out because they're just like, I came for entertainment, not to be preached at about how racist I am. So
Yeah.
uh, one of speaking of Jason Derulo, I know I've told this joke on air before too, but still one of my favorite jokes, racial jokes, racist jokes that my friend said before was when she was looking at a magazine and saw a picture of him, and she said, "Not to sound racist, but I always thought that Jason Derulo was white, like people should be."
Yeah, I remember that joke. That was a really funny joke. Because it's like, what?
Oh,
God, those
yeah.
nails, though. I'd be afraid to come near her.
Yeah, I just don't understand anyone who whenever I see, like, super like, those are extremely long, but even anyone who has, like, relatively long fake nails, I'm like, "How do you do anything?" Like, that just shows someone who's, like, never has to pick up or do any physical tasks ever.
I know.
I've
We,
seen, like, cashiers who have that, they have to use, like, a pencil or something to type on, like, the
I know.
calculator and keyboard stuff.
I saw a porn actress talking about other porn actresses having nails like that
Oh
and doing
gosh.
girl on girl scenes, and she's like, "Keep those hands away from me." Yeah,
Yeah.
like, it's so
It's like
terrifying.
scratching you on the inside and
Like, oh god, yeah, that like,
yeah.
ooh.
Sounds awful.
I thought that was so like it's hilarious, and at the same, and like I saw her nails; they were like reasonably long. They were not like
Yeah.
overly long, but it was kind of
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. I don't like I mean, like, these are probably still a little bit longer than I like now, but because I playing instruments, a lot of times you want them short or, like, even typing on the keyboard on the computer, it's just I don't like hitting it, and if they're so
Oh
long and you're, like,
no,
typing and I'm like, my nail's hitting it first and my fingertip isn't
I
hitting
hate
it
that
enough, then
too.
I'm like, "This is so obnoxious." So then I'm like, anytime I start noticing that, then I immediately find, like, nail clippers or just, like, chew 'em, yank them off
You
with my teeth.
Yeah, I hate that too. I think that feels horrible. It's one of the worst sensations ever. I knew a lot of classical guitarists, and with one hand, at
When they have
least
the long ones
they have the longer fingers, the
to
longer fingernails to
yeah,
pluck
so
with.
yeah,
Um,
I met one, like, he came to speak at high school or something, and it was just interesting to see, like, you got it. I couldn't do that because I hate asymmetry that much, so I couldn't have one side, but, like, yeah, it is helpful for picking at the strings. Axel, I just saw you say Egyptians. He says, "I'm a white guy. I'm not offended at all that they are not making music for white people. When I have my personal clothes ice time, I'm not thinking of Egyptians normally." I was just talking. I just befriended an Egyptian guy named Carlos on the phone talking to AT&T today. So thanks for bringing up Egypt. Watch Yu-Gi-Oh, everyone. Um, all right, Lizzo. All right, let's go into the next movie. I've still got some other tweet
yeah.
stuff, but we can get back to those later. All the bad takes. Um, let's see. We've got Werewolf by Night. What's the next thing that I had on there? I don't even remember what's the name of this episode. Hellraiser, Army of the Dead, It Follows. Okay. Army of the Dead.
So this movie is way too long, first of all,
Mhm, mhm.
because Zack Snyder doesn't know how to tighten a film. And it's just stupid. It's so dumb. And I was watching people I looked around the internet to see what other people said, and I was like, yeah, these were the same thoughts I was having. Like, so it's $200 million is what they're trying to heist from this casino using one helicopter and a team of like 8
Yeah, and
people
he was, like,
with
giving
their
2
weapons.
million to each person.
Yeah. And my problem with that is that it's like $200 million in cash in the stacks we were shown would weigh so damn much. And I seriously doubt that helicopter could carry all those people, let alone all those people and the money. Not possible. Absolutely not possible. And I'm not the only one who thinks that, apparently. Everyone's like, wait a minute, no, this is like
Yeah.
if
I
they
don't
hadn't lost as many people as they had,
and
like
maybe they didn't admit to it, but they were just knowing, "We're not all gonna make it back." Stevie says he knows an Egyptian person. They are what's a Coptic Christian? I don't know what Coptic means, but my guy was also because that was the issue of having a Christmas time birthday, and because everyone was celebrating Christmas on his birthday. Um, yeah, I didn't think about the weight of the money. If only they were in gold, because like it's disappointing how much like a small amount of gold is worth because you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this like gold bar or whatever," but then it's like, well, unless you have like millions of dollars worth for like one gold bar, you're just getting this tiny, tiny little like part of an ounce where like, and that's like $500. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna like split this off to buy some milk.
Yeah. I like yeah. Actually, if it was like something like 10 gold bars or something like that, I could totally picture them fitting that and
Yeah.
having it meet the weight limit on
Mhm.
the helicopter. I should totally see that. Um, and in Tig's like tools just magically fucking appeared when they get to the helicopter because it's like that thing's been sitting there for 3 years. There's no way it runs.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Yeah, like that's such a
I
risky move.
it really is. And then Did you notice that some of the zombies were actually robots?
No, I did not. Oh, you
There's
mean
a
like as in like the in filming they just use like
no, 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 no,
or
no.
like
Like
they're
they shoot one in the head. There's this one shot that everyone brings up, and it's the one I noticed it on. It's when Goose shoots one in the head down on the casino floor, and its face sparks and has metal.
oh, I must have not been looking at that point. That's
And
interesting.
Zack Snyder confirmed that some of the zombies are robots.
Why?
He never did anything with it.
Yeah, like unless you're gonna be doing more after this, which does remind me though, in college we did oh, what was it? I think it was just like a I can't even think of what it's called right now. I keep wanting to call them ads. What do they call it? Preview? Is preview the right word?
Trailers.
Trailers. Thank you. We had to make a trailer. I went to film school and I know all the terms. I just keep forgetting the word trailer. We had to make a trailer of a film. What do we call it? It was um I think it was Robot Ninjas versus Pirate Zombies, I think was the name of it. So we just had to have like all of them. Like we got people to play all these things to fight. So it just reminds me of that. We have zombie robots now.
Well, like,
Yeah, and you didn't do anything with that, but that was developed enough that it became part of your filming, and you
yeah,
just never like
exactly.
it's not included in your script though?
Nope. And then there's also the part where that one guy's like, well, maybe it's a time loop, and they're literally showing that one of the dead bodies has the same necklace as one of the team members, and one of them's wearing the same blue Hawaiian shirt as the pilot.
Mhm.
And it's and that like, oh, it's a time loop and we're just doing this over and over and over again. And it's like, that's a better story. And that
Yeah.
no, that doesn't come up again either.
Stevie, we're talking about this movie here, Army of the Dead. It has Dave Bautista and other people whose names I don't know.
Yeah, look at that picture. Look. Oh God. It's look at who that is. That's Chris D'Elia. So back leaning against the pillar.
Oh,
That's
this one?
yes.
Okay. It won't
So
let me
they
zoom.
fired him after
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was like,
they
"Who is
fired.
he?" I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, he's not in the movie. He's the helicopter pilot originally. They fired
Oh,
him after they filmed it and
really?
digitally
What?
replaced him with Tig Notaro.
No.
Yes.
Really? I'm trying to think of, like, if they had scenes ever together with people. Yeah. Wow. What? I
Yeah,
gotta
and see,
admit,
it's I could tell because the cinematography on Tig,
it was,
like
like,
when
close up a
it was
lot
like
of
these
them.
weird shots
Yeah,
that
I
were
did
like
notice that.
yeah, exactly. And then like the acting when they first have Tig and Dave Bautista talk to each other through that
Mhm.
fence. First of all, the cinematography in that scene is weird as well. But
Yeah.
then like also it doesn't feel like they're actually talking to each other. And it's because they're not. And they think this is good enough. And it's ridiculous. It's she wasn't funny, so like it's like, ooh, good replacement.
Um,
Uh
I liked her. I think I liked her, but I think I just also because I remembered her from I don't even know what I've seen. I think she was in an episode of The Office. I think she like I've seen her in like one episodes of things, and so she was just stuck in my brain of like I recognize you, so I already have an attachment to you. So I, so I think I liked her. All right, I was sad that she died.
the thing is, they all die.
I know. Yeah. Well, some of them I didn't care about, but
Yeah, I know. Well, you know
but
what I also thought was really weird is how the chainsaw guy, the circular saw guy, and the safe cracking guy got so close so fast. It
Mhm.
was like they were such close buds. And I
Yeah.
was like, what the hell? Like, you guys barely know each other. Like, it's not even been like a day. Like,
Uh-huh, it's been a few hours, but then he's willing to sacrifice himself to save the other guy and, like, wow.
Yeah, I know. Which I one thing I did think was kind of funny. So they made all the actors go into like a boot camp. They do that a lot for action movies, and they were teaching them how to shoot. And the safe cracking guy, who's not never shot a gun, in the
Mhm.
movie, the guy playing him actually is trained in firearms.
Oh, really?
So they had to train him on how to look
To hold it
less,
poorly?
yeah,
Yeah.
less skilled, which I find kind of funny. But yeah, mostly I felt like this movie was way over long. I got really sick of
Mhm.
the out of focus shots. Like there's so many of them. And I made a joke. I was like, what are the point of these shots other than to question my life up to this moment that led me to watch a Zack Snyder film? Because otherwise I don't know why I'm sitting here staring at this unfocused screen.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
My eyes are already
ridiculous.
blurry enough. It's looking too
Yeah.
far away. I should put my glasses on. Sometimes I have to because, like, this monitor is farther away now, so then I'm just, like, have these nearby. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, now things are a little bit clearer." But,
Nice seeing you with your glasses on.
yeah, I've got, like, fun ones, but not here. These ones are, like, slightly more normal, but they are purple.
I really only wear these.
Yeah, I like big, like the thick frames and then that are square because I think square works better on my face and just because it's so round, but then I also have like more like I can look around and I just have more, uh, just yeah, like the glass fills up more of my eye line.
I don't like the super popular ones that are right now that are like heavy on the bottom, like where the glass extends like really far to the bottom, so they're like really big. Because it took me a
Uh,
while to find these, because almost all of the ones in the store, this was at the beginning of the year when I got new glasses, were like that big, and I'm like, my face is so tiny and narrow. This is not gonna work. I want
uh,
something a little like horizontally sharp.
these
Uh,
ones have like the nose pads or whatever, they're like so that helps, like, keep them up, but the square ones, they always just have, like, nothing here, and my nose is too small, so they always, like, slide down. I have a lot of trouble keeping them up, so I have to, like, constantly push them up, but then it, like, hits my eyelashes, and then that bothers me, so just don't usually wear glasses often, so but I get them from zennyoptical.com. If you guys don't, like, you get, like, cheap glasses brought to you by totally not sponsored, but
They're
we should
not
be.
paying us. Stop
Yeah,
telling them.
I know, yeah. Um, so for this movie, I'll say because I've been watching a lot of bad horror movies, my expectations were just super, super low from watching really, really terrible ones. So this wasn't the worst movie I'd seen. I enjoyed the humor and like there were certain parts that I liked. I thought Dave Bautista, I just like his deadpan delivery. Like I think he was good at being a straight man when you had like silly, like weird people say something and he would just kind of be like, and I thought that was humorous the way he did it. Um, also, that Martin guy, the one who was like working for
Oh,
with
Garrett Dillahunt. I love Garrett
I
Dillahunt.
remember him from the Mindy Project.
I will watch him in anything. He is amazing, and his range is so good. I was like, oh yeah, him. I thought his death scene was a little long. Honestly, I was like, oh, this is lasting quite a while. I'm kind of uncomfortable at this point. I don't know like why it has to be this long, but
Mhm.
and maybe some of that is because despite the character being hateable, I still like the actor.
Yeah, yeah,
And he so often plays an evil guy too.
yeah. I don't know him in much else, but like he is kind of like a haughty prick in Mindy Project for a bit, but then he kind of like tones it down. Like, he has growth. But I don't think I haven't really seen him, but I like him. I liked and I and liked, not trusting him in this movie too. Like, oh yeah, like they kept even saying like you're up to something. Like, yeah, of course.
I know, but then no one calls him on it.
I
Like it's
know,
so
yeah.
ridiculous. Like when that woman, wait, the woman he basically got killed, jumps through the glass, and I swear to God, they're a lot closer, and that no one helped her. And
Uh-huh.
she's still alive and unbit, and they're all like, "Leave her!
I know,
It's too
yeah.
late."
Was
I'm
that
like, what are you talking about?
was that Guzman and Chambers when was that the one where he was like
Yeah.
super upset? Yeah, and I was just like, no, she's like right nearby. Like
She's
she
right
had,
there.
yeah.
Get her.
And
And
then,
then like,
no.
and she's within yelling distance, and she couldn't have said, Martin did it. He betrayed me. Don't trust him. Nothing.
Oh,
That
yeah.
scene was so stupid. Like, she was cool. She was a badass
Mhm.
and everything.
Yeah, and just,
Yeah,
like, the first to
I
go.
think I know. I thought the action was pretty good. I thought the opening sequence, the not the opening sequence
Oh,
with
I was gonna
the
say
car
that.
crash. That was dumb. But the credits sequence was good.
Oh, yeah, the credit scene was cool, like, but the before that, when it was just the military with all I didn't know where it was gonna go, and, like, the military thing, I was just kinda, like, glazed over because I was like, "Oh, how serious is this movie gonna be? Like, is this gonna be, like, the whole like, a war thing, or, like, is this any of it?" And I was just already starting to, like, okay, I'm like, "Oh, no, it's gonna be, like, a little bit funny, I guess, at least." So, like,
Part of
um
me, as soon as the car crashed into the truck and they exploded, I was like, does Hollywood think cars and trucks are like coated
I
in
love they all yeah,
nitroglycerin?
everything always explodes. Well,
It just
and I love when things that aren't supposed to, when they do it intentionally too, or like,
Yeah.
was it maybe I know you hate Frozen, but I feel like they did that or something when the cart, like, flies over, but or, like, they jump out and then, like, they look down below and it, like, catches on fire. I think that was from Frozen, but anytime where it's just like, "Why? Why would that catch on fire?" But you're making fun of the fact that, like, everything else catches on fire.
Yeah.
The show IT Crowd, they have, like, a whole episode where I love, Richard Ayoade, he plays Maurice Moss on there, but he just like he whatever he was doing it spark he forgets to turn off something and it sparks and it catches on fire and then he's just like, "Oh no." Fire and he goes to
Mhm.
get the fire extinguisher and tries to put it out and the fire extinguisher catches on fire and he's like and then he like goes to try to call. I think is that the episode where they changed the phone number of 999 and it's 09989988199991197253 is like the new number, but then they're busy or something, so he just has to email the fire department to say like fire, and it's just I love that show
That
so.
number thing reminds me of Scream Queens, the big when they introduced Denise Hempfield, where she's like,
Yes.
if I'm not on the property, you can call 1866 and
Yeah, and she goes through the whole thing and like, "They will contact me," and
yeah, I
and like, "And
know.
I will come a running."
And it is like, yeah, like if I'm on the property and you see the killer, you just scream, "Help! Denise Hempfield!" and I will come on running.
I love her so
And
much.
do you have a gun? No.
No.
But
Uh
I can call the police.
Oh, about glasses, Winky's asking if we're short or long sighted. I'm nearsighted, so I have more difficulty seeing farther away, and mostly my right eye is the worst one.
Nearsighted, and this is in focus. So this is
Like,
not that far
every
from my face.
like, things are, like, slightly blurred, but I can see enough that I don't need them to drive necessarily, but then I might, like, squint, but because then
I
I always
really
take
cannot
them.
see without these. Um,
And Stevie had asked, "Did Army of the Dead have memorable zombie kills?" I thought the zombies were interesting, though. I thought it was kind of I mean, I've seen, like, different types of zombie things before, like, "Oh, they're not your normal," but I thought this was a l a little bit, different than what I've seen where you have, like, the regular whatever they call it, the regular ones, but then they had the
Shingles.
alphas, which,
Yeah.
and then the alphas that had some sort of like thought and the ability to get pregnant apparently, which
Yeah.
was odd as your body is supposed to be decaying and things
Yeah.
though, I thought. So then I mean, but I guess if there's more like, zombie is loosely the term is loosely used now too. So it's just like, oh, something that changes your physical appearance and inside like so maybe like you're not undead, maybe it is just something that like like a virus that changes you into something else. So I guess it could be because it was just we didn't know what it was that caused
Well,
the original one, right?
there's the idea, well, it's some sort of bioweapon probably.
Right, yeah,
This
yeah, I
is.
just mean like
Yeah.
specifically like what was it that was it that
Yeah.
changed like it affected.
Yeah. But they call him Zeus, the
Hmm.
head zombie.
Right.
Um who looked like he used to be a member of the military, like the U.S. military. The
Yeah,
way,
you're
like when
right.
he's first introduced, his hair is like kind of short, and I don't know, it just feels like he's supposed to be like a test subject that the military used. But the one thing though that I had a complaint about, and a lot of other people did too, actually, I think Pitch Meeting brought it up. That's Ryan George. Is that the movie keeps setting up Chekhov's guns that it then doesn't follow through on. Like, for example, the coyote woman says that when it rains, they'll get
Yeah,
back
I
up.
was waiting to see that, and I'm like, what
And it didn't
happened?
happen. And they
Yeah.
keep teasing that the circular saw is going to be used in killing
Uh-huh.
zombies, and they don't use it to kill zombies.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just they had more that they filmed, and then they like, well, we already are at 2.5 hours. Like, you gotta cut down to 2.5 hours. I mean,
Well, I mean, so that's the thing, is that this is my thought on that, because it's a Zack Snyder problem. He's done this before, where he makes a hell-long movie where he sets shit up that doesn't get followed through on, and everyone's like, "Well, his Wonder Cut's probably awesome," and it's like, here's the thing, no, you don't get to do that, all right?
I
You don't
think
get
that's
to
just your
make
whole statement is, here's the thing. No.
you
Duh.
don't get to make a movie that is 2.5 hours long and then say a longer version would be better. No, you don't. No. What you need to do is trim the fat on the 2.5 hours of bullshit you gave us. Add in the scenes where you fire your Chekhov's guns, and then make a 2-hour movie. Make a 2-hour movie where you set the shit up and you follow through on it. Don't give us these 10 seconds of blurry shots every other scene. Like, fuck this movie. And fuck that defense. No.
Alex is worked up, people.
I'm sorry. So many people defend Zack Snyder because they're like, I want to see the long version. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck him. Learn how to make a tight movie.
I definitely agree with making things tight. But I am curious, just for my want of like knowing things. Like, I want to know, like, did he actually fill in like answer these questions in other parts of it though? Like, even if it would be like take forever to get through. Again, I just think that with similar to Elvis, where like it might have worked as like a TV series though, where you're just like, okay, you have a lot of plot points though that like, and maybe instead of trying to cram it all into a film and that's super long, you could have taken your time more and had like, hour-long episodes to really kind of get into it. Like, I think that concept of for as a TV series would have been awesome, which I think they're doing like a prequel or something, but they should just redo this movie as a
Yeah, I know.
series.
They're trying to make a Netflix like
Yeah.
cinematic universe, and this was their start, and I'm like, I don't know, this is probably not
Oh,
a good
I didn't
idea.
realize they're making a whole universe like,
Yeah.
of different okay, alright, that's interesting. I'll be cautiously interested in this idea. A couple of the things, like, just specific stuff that I did notice, I thought they talked about, like, the temperature gun at your head, like, and dragging you out of your car, and I was like, "When was this filmed again?" Like, are they referring to, like, stuff that happened in real life where, like, in China over certain illnesses that were going around? And just generally too, I'm like, "Oh, when I've had to go into places and they check your temperature just by, like, having your wrist check or, like, standing at a wall and having it," then I'm like, "Yeah, weird." Back with I was thinking just as far as the characters when they're going into I'll say the genre of zombie heist as a film, I thought that was kind of because I'm like, "Oh, what?" Like, so I had no
Yeah.
idea exactly what it would be about, but I was intrigued by that as a genre. Just like, what is it? Christmas zombie musical, of Anna and the Apocalypse, which I really enjoy. I just thought, like, never heard of all of those things together in a genre, but it worked. And
I yeah, I don't mind crossovers, like, between genres, but I don't think he did a good job. That's
No, I'm disappointed, but, like, that's why I just like the idea of that genre.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I would like to see it. But
I'd like to see zombies trying to do the heist.
Yeah. I saw someone made a really good point that it would have made more sense for the heist and the zombie horde, of alphas to be based at the same location. That would have added so much more tension and complication, and also made it feasible to like try to rescue anyone that he's taken. And it's like, yeah, that definitely would have made things a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should I play this link?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's Zack Snyder related.
Okay. You're allowed to share stuff too.
I know,
You
but
know?
I didn't want to open it.
All
right, let's see. Oh, that's loud.
What's your name? Zack. You look annoyed that I asked you that. I was like, what's your name? He goes, Zack. Every time I meet a stranger, they always ask the same fucking question. It's like, hello? How many times do I have to answer this? You wear a shirt that says Zack on it, dude. Oh, we're going to a crowd work show? That sounds like fun. No one better fucking ask me your name. I want them to just call me audience member. I don't want any kind of personal touch to it at all. What do you do for a living, Zack?
I'm a movie director.
What? Oh, I just blew it. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. What kind of movies do you direct? All right, now you're lying. Get your story straight, Zack.
What Zack movie director have you ever heard of?
Zack Snyder?
That's me.
What? Someone pull up IMDb right now. Let me know how big I just fucked up.
100%.
100%. I could be Robin, right? Right, Zack? I could be Robin. We need a Robin franchise, but...
It really was Zack Snyder. Yep. See?
That's awesome.
That was like one of my favorite things I've ever seen on the internet. Was like,
I enjoyed that. Oh, so what I was gonna say with Army of the Dead, the Guzman chamber scene where the girl, like when they're like, leave her, it's too late. The Guzman was like super upset by this, and like I get it, like you're close, but just for everyone though too, when you're like, we're going into this super dangerous, potentially deadly, risky thing. You got to like make peace with the idea, like say goodbye first, and just like now's not the time to get emotional about anything though. You got to compartmentalize that stuff, and when you're going in, because then he's just like standing there and like waiting, like oh, and then finally leaves. But I'm like, you can't let that be that dramatic for you emotionally during this time though. Like the adrenaline needs to be rushing, and you need to like get out or like either help or leave. So don't just like stand and wait.
The part where this is another like moment that I was like, is that they're down in the vault room and Dave Bautista, Scott, is all like, oh, I have to go after my daughter, and he hits the the elevator button, and then he's having a conversation with that other woman, I can't remember her name, who apparently liked him romantically, which we learned in the scene right before that.
I had suspicions. I thought at one point, like, because they like were a little bit affectionate or something, like just the way he like handled her. So I thought that there was some sort of thing. I thought they were maybe already in a relationship, but then they weren't.
But then, like, so as they're talking, the elevator is coming down, and I know what's coming. Like, I know that as soon as those elevator doors open, there's going to be zombies in there, and there was. And I was like, you can't do this trick again. It's already been done in a movie like 20 years ago with zombies.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, don't think it's going to be surprising.
Oh, like,
interesting.
She was very surprised when her head got turned around.
Yeah, she was.
I didn't realize Zack Snyder, because I had never looked into who had directed it, did Sucker Punch. It's been a long time, but I I remember liking the film well enough. I just thought it was interesting.
I don't think that Zack Snyder has ever been as good as his directorial debut, which was Dawn of the Dead.
I still haven't seen that one. I'm working my way through.
So good.
Really?
It's a reboot of the Romero of the same name, and it's written by James Gunn.
Oh,
It's
really?
very, very well done.
Oh,
and one of the
okay.
reasons why is because it's written by James Gunn.
Yeah, great.
And
Okay.
like at one point he asked James Gunn to like
It's
take
true, Wallace.
part in the Army of the Dead movie, and James is like, nah, I'm gonna be doing Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I can't. People are talking about Sucker Punch still, and I have never been able to sit through that movie.
It's been like over a decade since I saw it, but I think because I guess it'll go along with like I hadn't seen something quite like that at the time though, so I just thought it was a little bit new, like the artsiness of it, the way it was filmed. I thought that was it. I disliked the ending, but yeah, but I think I just liked the look of it though, just because it had like a gritty. Like it was like colorful but like desaturated at the same time. I forget now, like what was her name, Babyface or something. I liked her look. I should rewatch it and then probably say like, oh, it sucks, it's terrible. But I don't know.
What I like, one of the best descriptions I heard of it was that it's like, this is like a male feminist idea of an empowering woman.
I can see that, yeah.
And I was like, that sounds like something I don't want to watch. I was like, I'm good.
Army of the Dead, the infinite loop thing that you brought up before. I was just thinking how like if that I'd make that would be really interesting if they actually went through with it. But what I was thinking was like, oh, they just have other people who came in attempting the same thing, and then because what was his name, Tanaka or whatever, and then like you're just getting new people and you're in the whole puppet master thing. And what I was really excited about was that is exactly what I did in my D&D campaign, where like I like over the last 4 years it was kind of like trickling through like, oh, you could see like the other heroes because like they all got like letters saying like, if you're a true hero, come do this. And so now they have this whole thing of what they need to do, and then they slowly find out that like others have been here before them, and then they literally called it like even the friend who they thought like she's the actual bad guy, like that is the puppet master. I even had them do like a puppeteering scene at one point though, or like with her, where she pretended to be like really bad at it, but they had no idea. So once it was revealed, and like even now too, sometimes they're like, were we the puppets the whole time? Like, one of the guys said, and I'm like, yeah, that's the idea. And you're just like, blow. So that's been awesome. A lot of fun. One of the things too, who was it? Was it Kate? She has her gun and she like goes to shoot. I don't know if it was at Zeus or not, but she shoots and it's empty, and then it slides back, showing that when she shot the empty gun, it slid back. I'm like, why did it not slide back when she shot the last bullet that made it empty like guns normally do? And then I was also wondering, how did they even make a gun do it that way? Like for the filming this scene, like I didn't even know. Like you have to, like, what did she shoot that made it empty? That made it slide back like that? Because that's just once it's empty, then like the gun lets you know, like, hey, there's nothing else in here, and then it makes it easier to reload because you're like,
Speaking of like technical things like that, I saw someone who works in like construction, specifically with saws, was explaining that there was no fucking way that the saw could break through that concrete without breaking if they weren't running water over it to cool it down, like because it would heat and the tips would chip off. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because it's like, it's not going to break through metal. That was absolutely probably not going to happen. But then the concrete, yeah, it can. You can use a circular saw on concrete. But why was there no metal bars in that concrete? Because concrete walls have metal bars through them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was not poorly, or it's not well made, I guess, if that was how it is.
Which it's like, it's near the safe room. Why wouldn't it be well made?
Yeah, I mean, this should be pretty well constructed. Winky
then
Winky Woo
also-
also says that I have long arms. This is true, I do. I got long arms and long legs. I'm 5'7", so.
I was also annoyed by all the exposed skin. Like, here I am in long sleeves down to even the tips of my knuckles, and I'm like, why can't you guys wear long sleeves? There are even, by the way, shirts you can buy, long sleeve shirts you
To
can
keep you
buy
cool.
that are pierce resistant.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Cops have them.
because I would think I'm gonna die in like long sleeves in Las Vegas. It's gonna be too hot but when you're like going against zombies and like dangerous things, it's when you know that you're gonna get turned into a zombie by like being bitten by something, like yeah, wear plate metal.
I would be wearing like a gimp suit of that pierce resistant stuff. I don't care how fucking hot it is. And yeah, like chainmail as well. Like I'm gonna survive.
Yeah. Exactly. The heaviest armor that you can get. I'm gonna have an AC of 25. That's a pretty high AC in 5th edition of D&D. Axel Gertner, looks like he's asked a couple times about what we think of simps. You know what? I'll like simps if you give us money. So that's how I feel. If you're not going to pay money, then I'm not really that interested. Honest opinion. Also, all right, at the ward, Dave Bautista's character at the end, we're like, oh no, she left, and then she flies back the copter and whatever her name is, and she lands.
It's just as Tig. She's Tig.
Yeah, Tig. Yeah, and so she like it talks about how like like I got a conscience, and so like I wavered, and then I came back, and then like Kate is in, and then they're and Dave Bautista is like standing outside and just like smiling like. Yeah, she's back. We're pausing here. There's just this like heartfelt moment that like, why are you waiting? And then Zeus is behind them, and it's like you spent like 10 seconds just like staring at your daughter and Tig about like it was really annoying to me that like this is a terrible time to just smile at each other.
And a nuke is on the way.
Yeah, and a nuke on the way like this. Why like she didn't want to wait around beforehand, but now we're just like I'm back and all right, guys, let's just have this heartwarming scene. So I was really, really bothered by that.
I know. There was a lot of that was really dumb. And also, okay, so Zeus is so pissed that they killed his queen. Partially because she was pregnant.
I felt kind of bad for him.
I did too, except for the fact that he's also retarded because if she's that important, why let her leave your main base?
She's like in charge or like oh, let me go and be the first one to like check things out. Though like no, if you're like an important queen who's with a child, have like minions in front of you that will be cannon fodder.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know that Zeus would have reacted quite so badly to all the, to one of the alphas getting killed if it wasn't her. So I thought that was really dumb. And it's like, it's one of those moments where Ryan George from Pitch Meeting would go, because the movie has to happen. Like, it's like the only reason why she's like in the front, regardless of the fact that would be dumb for Zeus to do and her to do as well. If she's pregnant, is so that someone can kill her and he can freak out and attack them. I mean, that's the only reason it's there, but that's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. And there's so much about this movie. This is just slapdash.
I mean, I can give like a little bit of leeway in that, like they are dumb though. That like even though they're smarter than like the mindless zombies, I guess they're not full. But they kind of like had a language too, though. So there was like some sort of intelligence there, but I guess they're like not the most critical thinking. But yeah, so that's what like I said, it's a fun idea. There were some funny, like entertaining parts that I liked some of the humor that they did in it. Even like the easy peasy Japanese, and they're like, whoa, you can't say that anymore. Like, no, I think it's okay because he's you're Japanese.
He's like, it's fine, I'm Japanese.
Yeah.
Like,
Which I
wanna
never even
say,
heard
though,
that saying.
Me either.
Yeah.
I've never heard it any other way but lemon squeezy. Never in my entire life have I heard Japanese.
I think when I looked it up, it originated in like England or something. So then I thought like, oh, maybe it's more in the UK or something though, as a saying, and not in America. But then I was like, why would that? Like, why would he use an English type of idiom though?
Yeah, why would he?
Zack Snyder's American, so like I just
Yeah.
So I was kind of confused, but it seemed I was entertained by it, but then it also seemed like you kind of had to force it though, because I'm like, that's not even a common saying, but they all thought it was common. Like, you can't say that anymore. I'm like, who's ever said that to begin with?
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought. I was like, what?
Yeah, but now
so it's not American.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Did Tanaka spend a lot of time in England?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But why would the Americans in the group know it? That's the real
yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah. I think that's everything I had to say about Army of the Dead. Like I said, there were some enjoyable moments. I don't think it was executed to the best that I think it had potential, and it just wasn't executed as well as it could have been.
Yeah.
And like the story could have been stronger. Like the writing could have been better. So, but it's not the worst movie that I've seen this month.
You've been watching a lot of bad movies, though.
Yeah, been a lot of bad movies. Okay, since you're gonna have to stream here in an hour, we need to let's just move on to It Follows, and then if we have time, we'll do these other tweets and stuff. If not, I think they can wait till next week anyway.
Yeah.
Or they'll be short too, because some of them are just the bad takes. Yeah, we can do that at the end. So It Follows. Even beforehand, we were both like, we've seen this movie before, and we both really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best modern horror movies ever. Like, it's so good. And one of the reasons why I think that is that there's so much attention to detail throughout of it. And it's one of those things where it's all like, what does this mean? And it can mean a lot of things because there's a lot of layers to it too. Because like It Follows is about like essentially a sexually transmitted horror that follows you, but it literally and if it gets you, it kills you. And the thing is though, is that it appears as people you know, and some of the people it shows up as are her family members and friends. And it's so like the first one it shows up as to her is actually the guy who gave it to her, his mom.
Was it?
Yeah, and she's naked.
I didn't realize that was his mom. Okay, because I didn't.
That's why when she goes to his house later on, when she tracks him down and she knocks on the door and the woman answers and they show her, like most of the time they don't show any of the adults, like the real older adults in the movie, but they show her full face and she has this reaction because she recognizes her.
Oh, okay.
It's her.
And I didn't recognize her with clothes on. That like
yeah, I know. Well, and then like another thing is that the next one, that when she's in the school, it's appearing as her grandmother.
Is that her grandmother? Okay.
Yeah, it's her grandmother.
Because they did have a photo of her with the grandparent later on. I don't think because I'm just bad at remembering what people look like on things though, so then I don't.
And when it's on the roof as they're leaving, it's appearing as her grandfather. And in the final scene, when it's by the way, when it's going after Greg, it first appears as Greg, and then it appears as his mother, which is extremely disturbing because that's the form it's in when it kills Craig.
And rapes him.
Yeah. And then when they're leaving, it's her and it's on the roof, it's her grandfather. And in the final conflict, it's Jay's father, her deceased father. Yeah. So and so to some, like a lot of people say it's about STD and that kind of stuff, but it seems like it's also kind of about sexual abuse too, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's showing it as family members specifically.
And sometimes too, like, or maybe traumas though, because like other ones early on, like it came in as like a partially naked girl who was like urinating, her just peeing herself, and her boob is sticking out. Though it's like, oh, that she was someone who was violated. And I'm just putting this up on screen just to show like this is what the movie is. It's called It Follows.
Yeah.
But and then I think there was another one too, something, or like the naked woman. So something where it's just like, hey, she was just like when she had sex with the guy that gave it to her, then she felt like, oh, because he like chloroformed her and stuff too, so then she felt violated. So then it had like, oh, like where you're, and he even said too, like it might show up as people that to try and like mess with you though, to like make, and so like maybe like you're struggling through the psychological traumas that you had about like the sexual encounter, so you're seeing that, and then your family things too, to like, and you're upset by the things that you're seeing. So I can see that being like maybe abuse that from those family members. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and the first scene is of another woman. We don't know her name really or anything. She gets killed by it. It's following her. We don't see it, but it kills her. And she just stops after she escapes and sits on a beach and waits for it. And one of the later scenes, Yara, the friend, is reading from The Idiot, and she's reading about how sometimes when you're facing an impending doom, such as a house falling in on you, some people will sit down and wait, come what may. And it's like, that's literally explaining that first sequence to us. that she literally just decided she was going to let it kill her and she was not going to fight anymore.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of moments like that where they like really, they don't like eat, like when she's in the school and the teacher is reading that poem, when this is one of the ways that actually that it's her grandma, is that when she first sees it coming from outside, the teacher is talking about Lazarus and resurrection. So there's a lot of like really subtle things like that going on, and It Follows that, and that's one of the reasons why I really, really love this movie, is all the work the director and writer put into it.
I also really like how they because they made it so dreamlike, and that was something that I was reading too, that like the intention was that like this, like the whole thing is supposed to be kind of a dream, like you've got the monster, the nightmare and stuff, and but they really do that well with like the ambiguous time period that they've got, because like a lot of things like, oh, the TVs, they're all like watching like old black and white stuff from like 50s or even earlier, but then like some stuff looks like it's the 70s, like you've got like old 70s fridge, but like in another house there's like modern day like stainless steel fridge. You've got cars that look like super old, and then modern ones too, so it was just really and even like but weird, because the thing that she's reading, The Idiot, and it's a clam. I don't even know what. It's a weird clam e-reader. Bless you.
Thank you.
And that, so it's just like, and it's like touch screen because she's just like scrolling on it, but it looks like a compact, like a makeup compact. That's the shape of like an outside of it is a clam, but it's just this digital thing. So it's like, it's modern enough, but then it's like, this seems like something that you would have in the early 2000s, where they're like, this is a cool design, and they're like, no, this is not great, and so they dropped that design. But in not just time period, but seasonally too, because there'd be scenes where like, oh, I'm swimming and it seems like summertime, then we're at the movies and everyone's dressed in winter clothes, or like there are people in dresses, there are people like, so, and like even I think in the beginning, the girl who's running, it's like looks like summer in one shot, but then when she turns around, I think there are leaves falling down too. So there are just different times where, oh, this looks like a beautiful summer. Oh, now it's autumn. Oh, now like pumpkins like on porches and stuff too, as if it's like around Halloween.
He wanted it to have this nightmare quality because it's kind of based on a nightmare he had, recurring nightmare he had. The part of the movie that scared me so much that it really freaked me out is the part where they're sitting on the beach, and Greg goes to go take a piss, and on the beach is Jay, her sister, and Paul. And you see from in all of it's shot pretty wide lens. And you see from a wide shot of Jay, the main character, Yara start coming down a path towards
Right.
him. And you're like, well, it's Yara. And then like it goes to a wide shot of Paul and
with the water behind him.
With the water behind him, and then suddenly Yara floats into the shot on an inner tube. And I immediately knew what was going on, and I was like, "Oh no, fuck!
Yeah,
it's coming!" And then, like the fact that it moves things, like no one else can see it, but it moved her hair, and
I like that.
saw that.
So then you can like prove that, like, hey, this is here. Like, it's not. I like that where it's. Or I'll say that I dislike psychological stuff where it's like only you, like this is only messing with you, because then it makes it also seem like, is this all in your head? Like if no one else can. So I like that you're showing that like, no, this is real. It can still be sort of like a psychological problem though, but this is also like happening in real life too, that other people are seeing that this happens. So I did really like that, because I hate when it's always just like, I can't believe you because if there's nothing going on, and like, oh, now you're dead. Oh wow.
Yeah. I love this movie so much. Like rewatching it was fun because there's so many things. Like there's so much to watch. There was something I didn't ever notice before, is that like water plays a huge role in this movie.
Yeah, it's true.
Like even a lot of the like interior shots have paintings of water on the wall.
And like photos of Jay like in the pool and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she's in like scenes of her swimming and everything.
Yeah.
And like,
and then all the beach stuff.
I'll say like the thing that's different for me, or I'll say that like normally, like this is a really slow paced film though. And which is, I normally would be more critical of it, but I think it's well done enough that I'm like, okay, like some of it where I'm like, it is a lot of just like, oh, they're sitting and hanging out. And sometimes I might want like more action or something going on. Like, but like there's so much else, like stuff that's done well with it, and it keeps your interest, that I'm like, I'm okay with this. Like I do still enjoy it. But if the writing were worse though, like it would just be too slow. Like I would hate it, but I think it was well done. I keep thinking like I can't see Missy because she's like blending in with the background. So then it just looks like you're holding up your finger, like you're like, I'm gonna say something, but you're just trying to pet her.
She's hungry right now. She's
hungry. Yeah,
it is feeding time, so
it's time for her to eat. Yeah, that's fine. I can. Are people saying interesting things in chat? Let me look at that. I'll talk to you guys now. Winky's asking, is that your cat, Alex? Of course it is. It's always Missy. She's always such a diva, and she really wants the attention and food. Winky, I saw that you were saying that I'm into water sports. I'm not sure why. I do love swimming. We have a pool, but it's not like we needed like a new pool liner. They were sold out and stuff too. And I also don't know because there are different types of liners. And I called the one pool place nearby, and he said he would come, and then he never did, because I was just like, just come tell me what my pool needs, because I have no idea. I've never had one before, so it's just been sitting here for like 2 years now, undone. So maybe at some point, but with the geese and stuff, they might try to get in anyway and they would be good if it were chlorined. So just fill up with water and not actually do any chlorine in it. Oh, and a funny peeing joke. Yeah, I can pee. I'm good at that, I guess. Who's Stevie? You're blocking who? I don't know who you're blocking in chat. Is there drama happening? Don't tell me there's drama in chat. This is a drama-free zone. Alex fears the piss. Who's Kelly Bundy, David Hall? I don't know people's names. I just know characters. Yeah, geese can't do chlorine. That's why I wouldn't want to risk it. I wouldn't want to risk it, biscuit. I think it poisons and kills them. Yeah, I think chlorine kind of does that to everyone. Like you don't really want to be eating chlorine. That's why you shouldn't be swallowing the water and stuff. It's not that great for you. It does keep the water clean on the rest of your body, but don't drink it. Oh, I didn't see this earlier too. So you're saying the Japanesey thing is a UK saying since the 70s. And she's back.
The evil cats have been fed.
Let's see. What else did I have? There's not a ton to say like specific because I don't have like criticism. It's all just like, oh, this is a good movie. You should watch it. It's on Netflix and it's a well done film.
It's very well done. There's a lot to pay attention to. There's a lot of subtlety, so it's not something that you can just like, fun thing to put on in the background when I am eating or something. This is something you sit down and watch. It's very much an artiste kind of film.
Well, and there's still things that like I need to watch it again because like even though I know some stuff, I'm like, oh, I still missed, like I didn't see that happen, or I was trying to like go back and look at like the photos and things, and the first time I watched it, I don't think I noticed the seasons changing, and so but this time I was like, oh yeah, like here are all the different period, like the clothing that they're wearing and stuff, because I usually don't, said it before, I don't pay attention to what people wear, but then I happen to see like I think I liked her boots or something that she was wearing in one scene. I'm like, wait, how come she's wearing like all these like heavier clothing as if she was just like swimming or something in the past scene?
I know there's that point where they're walking. It's like right after they went swimming, so her sister can smoke a cigarette, and she's like wearing this heavy sweater, and it's like really, it's really weird how like they're like sometimes they're wearing almost nothing, and sometimes it's like all these layers. It's interesting.
I guess the one thing I'd want to talk about, what do you make of the ending though? Because so Paul and Jay are holding hands, and it's just very like a silent scene. They're walking down the sidewalk, and then there's someone in the background that's walking like in the same direction as them, but like nothing happens. It's just like a scene of like watching them like walk toward them, and then it cuts back from behind, and you just see, and it ends. Oh, my cat is now bothering, or one of them, Cory, he's scratching at the door.
I think that you can't kill the entity. I think it.
Do you think that was the entity though?
That I don't know about, but I don't think you can kill it. So
yeah. I'm gonna open the door for him. I'm still gonna listen, but I'll be right back.
I like Cory, so he's cute. Like trying to look at what's going on in chat myself.
Whoops. Cory likes to sit up on the back of my chair sometimes too.
I've seen that. I think they both came in. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, Elsie's hungry now too because they're gonna need to eat in like 20 minutes. But they've been wanting to eat. She's been wanting to eat like way earlier than she normally does.
She's a calico, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a calico tabby because like some calicos don't have like the tabby but she has like the kind of stripes and stuff along with her calico pattern. So they're both tabbies. And both hungry kitty. They're big cats. They love food.
Your cats are huge compared to mine. Like, mine are so tiny.
Yeah, like Cory, like he's tall, but then he just like they carry a lot of weight. And Elsie, when we got her, she was like 15 pounds, and we got her down to like 11, I think. But she's got short legs, so she still looks pretty big. Oh, he's coming around. Oh, you're just on the computer tower, so that's great. You're gonna probably hit the sleep button and just turn the whole thing off. Hey, come here. Come this way. He's like sitting, like his butt is right above where I might disappear. So
Oh my god, the timing on that. I might disappear and then gone. Perfect. I have no idea if maybe she's coming back. Oh my god.
He did it. He like turned around, and I was reaching for him, and I just saw his paw go down and just hit the button, and everything just turned off.
That was perfect timing, by the way. Absolutely perfect. You said, I might disappear, and then like almost immediately afterwards, black.
Okay, because I didn't know because it had me when I saw him turn around, and I went, no way. reached out toward him. Yeah, see, saw it coming. I'm glad that this computer like started back up very quickly though. Like, yep, I'm awake.
I was laughing so hard. I'm sorry.
No, I was too though. I was just like, come on, man. You knew it. You're gonna ruin everything.
I spilled a beer right before I went to go live. Like I put a waiting screen up on my live streams that I don't know how long they're gonna be or whatever, like how long it's gonna take me. And then like right when I went to go live, I knocked my beer over and spilled it.
I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. And I literally had to I unmuted myself on the waiting screen to go, I'm sorry. Like it's everywhere. Like you can still watch that live stream and it's still at the beginning of the live stream. You like at least like I don't know. That might be worse than anything Missy's ever done to me. She's never turned off my computer.
Yeah, which is at least better that it's sleep mode and not like a full power off, because when it first came, like I had to change the settings because just like pushing the button once lightly, it powered the whole thing down. Like, don't want that, not with this guy around. Get your dumb butt. Yeah,
he's missing most of his tail.
Yeah, so he just got a little nub tail. And it has like a little hook, like a golf club hook, so it's hard to we don't know for sure whether or not the vet said that it could be congenital, it could have been an accident. I think it's congenital because he was only like 3 months old when it got like it didn't look like there was any sort of injury or anything that might have happened, unless it could heal like super well within that 3 months if it happened like at birth, but I don't know. Yeah. So he twitches it, he wags it when he just gets happy.
Yeah. I didn't see Elsie took off out of the room.
Oh yeah, she's waiting for food. She's probably gonna be sitting by the food bowl out in the kitchen. Sometimes she just waits. Like, all right.
I guess we have our recommend for It Follows. So I guess we could talk about the other like little things. I feel like I sent you like 1,000 tweets.
I know. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's. There were so many. What's this one here? This guy, Joe Walsh. Politically, I'm conservative, and I'm woke, newly woke, proudly woke. Just means my eyes are now open to basic injustices and inequities. My eyes weren't always open, but now they are. I think that's a good thing. And yes, I'm still a conservative.
Oh my God. Like,
yeah.
Talk about being insane. Like, there's no way to hold those two thoughts at the same time.
Yeah, some cognitive dissonance on a plate for you. Okay.
Yeah, really.
That was a great one. I'm just like, there's some of the things where I'm like, I'm speechless. Like, I just don't even know what to say in response to dumbness. And so I'm just like, nope. Oh, this one isn't. Is this one that was just about? Oh yeah, you just posted this tweet, and I was like, oh, they're talking about Angela Lansbury, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
and then I was like, wait, did she die?
Yeah, she died.
So sad. Like, that's why this is happening.
Yeah, everyone's telling their Angela Lansbury stories because she died.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I thought like that lady had some moves. I was like, oh, like in her performances or something. You thought she was really good. Like, now she's retired. I'm like, oh. Huh. So I know she was old and stuff, so it's like, not like, oh, this is a terrible shock that I did not see this coming, because she was like 96 or something, but still sad. I love Jessica Fletcher. Grew up watching Murder, She Wrote, an old 8-year-old person named Beverly. They even had a character named Beverly in it. I think it was called, the episode was If It's Thursday, It's Beverly.
That's funny.
Or it was Wednesday or Thursday, one of those two. And but yeah, I loved, and I liked her in Sweeney Todd. I thought she was great in that, because I watched a recording of that live production. And as Mrs. Teapot in Beauty and the Beast, and the Queen and Anastasia.
Yeah.
And all the greats. So R.I.P. Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, very sad. She was very, very talented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love her. And just like Betty White, that was heartbreaking for me too.
Oh,
Love
it was
Betty White.
heartbreaking because part of the
She
reason
was
why it
so
was
close to
heartbreaking.
100.
Yeah, she was, and they were gonna have some like huge party for her
I
100th
know.
birthday. It was so horrible. It was like, no.
Yeah.
It was like, this is so bad.
Yeah, I was like, just hold out a little bit, and you couldn't make it. And I was, and the like symmetry thing that I need with my OCD, I was like, you're so close to 100, like just make it that even 100, and you're like right there.
Yeah.
That was really upsetting for that. I like rest in pepperoni, Stevie J. Obviously, we mean rest in power because of.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
All right, what's this? This is another bad, worst take tweets. Is this Ian Millhiser? I don't know who that is. Is it the position of NBC News that a senator with glasses cannot be trusted in office because they use assistive technology to accommodate their disability? Wait.
So he's referring to Fetterman, who has had a stroke. And
I did just learn. I didn't know he had a stroke until my boyfriend was saying that earlier today. I've never listened to him talk.
He needs a computer to help him process auditory information and to speak. And it's like, are you seriously comparing having glasses, needing glasses to
with
stroke
effects?
Like, what? This is such a stupid question.
Right. Yeah. And that's what, like, I feel bad for anyone who, I know someone else who's had a stroke too. Like, it's a terrible situation. Like, I feel bad for him that happened to him. But that's what I think when we were talking about it earlier, he was listening to a podcast. I think it's called Breaking Points. And they were kind of arguing over, because like one's conservative, the guy's conservative and the girl's liberal, but like they agree on certain things. But she was kind of defending, like, he's like, I don't know if he's fit for this position, like fit for office though. And she was trying to say like, oh, I think he still can be. But I'm like, don't be in denial for stuff. Like, it depends on how much you've recovered or not. But like there is a chance, and I don't know personally because I haven't like watched or seen how he speaks or what he does. But like, there's a chance that he is not fit. Like, I was using an example of like, if you're a sports player who like has an injured leg and you can no longer like run for football or whatever, like you're no longer fit to do that position. It's not fair. It sucks, but that's life. And you kind of have to like accept it. Like if someone were on crutches and trying to like catch the football and run around, though, like it's not going to go well. Like you can admit that like this is not a good fit for you.
Well, the thing is, though, is that the progressives especially don't want to have to acknowledge limits. God forbid we acknowledge that some people are not capable of something. Like, that they shouldn't, that they're, because of physical or mental limits, they cannot do something. They hate this idea. They cannot stand it. And this is why they're glomming on to the Fetterman issue.
Right. Yeah. We can't admit flaws or that like that, because everything is good though. Like it's okay if you have whatever mental or physical health problems though. Like you wave that flag.
Yeah.
Proudly.
Everybody bend over backwards because I have a problem.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too how much Fetterman, like I keep hearing so much about him, and like it's a Pennsylvania Senate thing. I'm like, why is Pennsylvania so prominent right now? Like, I feel really special that everyone's caring about.
I feel really special because everyone keeps talking about Katie Hobbs and Carrie Lake, the governor run for Arizona.
Yeah, I'm like, why is this just everywhere?
I saw a political ad against Carrie Lake. I keep seeing them on YouTube whenever I watch a video where it's like her on Tim Pool saying that they're asking her if she supports the idea of people getting rocket launchers. And she said, I believe any weapon, it's about protecting against tyranny. And then it goes, Carrie Lake, she's seriously dangerous. And I was like, she's seriously fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, I don't think this political ad worked in the way you thought it would, because I am down. Let's go.
Yeah. Of course, then they're gonna spin it that way, though, where it's just like, or it's oh yeah, because they don't care. They don't like the people who are dangerous. They want the government to be very dangerous as long as it's on their side, but
Yes,
not think about if it's going to be on the wrong side because they
exactly.
don't think that far ahead. Jennifer Howard on Twitter says, somehow I missed the part of the pandemic where unvaccinated people weren't allowed to marry the person they love or own property in their own name or vote or have clean water.
Yeah, they did lose their jobs, access to healthcare, including in some cases organ transplant. They lost
Oh,
their.
she's saying that like people are complaining, like the unvaccinated, like, hey,
Yeah,
we lost all these. And she's like, well, I don't know where
yeah. She's like,
I
you
had to
didn't lose.
understand the perspective she was coming from.
Yeah, she's saying you didn't lose these 5 particular things, so I
Yeah.
don't understand why you're upset. And it's
Yeah.
like people lost their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So like you need to shut up. And yeah, she kind of got dragged for this one.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a pretty bad take. I'm not sure if I had to choose between them. I don't know which ones. Are there more? Oh, wait. Let's see. This is too zoomed in. Get this one up. This one's the screenshot. I'm not sure which one it is. Okay. Cassie Pritchard says, this is why, incidentally, so much hysteria centers around the idea of, quote, teenage girls cutting off their breasts, unquote, because cis-het men feel ownership of the breasts of teenage girls. They feel an entitlement to be excited and aroused by the breasts of children. Okay, so probably this one.
This one is so bad.
Yeah, probably that's my vote was probably going to be this one unless they're worse. That might be the last one on here. That yeah, probably going to choose this one.
Yeah, this one is so bad. It's so horrible.
Huh. Feel an entitlement to be excited and aroused by the breasts of children because so they don't want them cutting them off because they want to be able to look at them because that's how cis-het men feel that because they have the ownership. It's hard to like try to make sense of stupidity sometimes and it hurts my head.
Well, because this is a feminist trying to defend trans activism by saying that only the patriarchy is against it because I mean it's so stupid.
You took a screenshot of this?
No, I didn't. I got a screenshot. This screenshot.
Someone else did. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I guess either way, like I don't know how it does. Like it does it to whoever has the whatever time.
It's the timestamp is from the person posting, not
it's from there. Okay, not that I didn't know how that works. So she posted this at 5 a.m. Why is she on Twitter at 5 a.m.? Like I don't know. Unless you have like a night shift job that like you're just getting out of work and then you're like doing that on your way home or in the bus or something. But like 5 a.m. I still like I sometimes just forget about it and I look at it a few days later like, oh yeah, Twitter exists. I still don't even when I'm posting like for Unsafe Space, like I keep thinking like, oh yeah, I need to retweet this under my own account. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like changing. I have to switch accounts and like and just do that all. And I'm like, I already exited out of the tab. Like I don't feel like going back now. Like I'm so lazy about it. Oh wait, we've got a. Oh, I missed it. Oh George, you were over in Rumble for a second, and it just says with a space bar. Not sure why, but thank you for going to Rumble.
The metal bars.
Okay.
It's called Rebar.
I hadn't looked at it because no one seemed to be over there, but like I have Rumble open, and if people chat there, I'll read it. I just stopped looking at it because when it seemed like no one had gone there for a while. Oh, I don't know if we want to watch the video, but we can at least look at the tweet that you sent about that comedian.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch the video? Because I saw it was down below.
I did watch the video actually.
So an audience member threw a full beer. I don't know if it was full, but maybe it wasn't. And most of it emptied. Ariel Comedy's head mid-set, and it was not fun in any way, shape, or form, but she closed it out like a fucking champ, and that's the only kind of actual brave I've ever seen a comedian be. And then she had retweeted, and she said, to answer the most obvious question, yes, I did pick up what was left of the beer and chug it.
She did.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I don't know if it's already 9:27. I'll post the link in chat for people who want to go and watch it, but we don't have to watch. Oh, we can watch her chug it. I guess I'll go to the end. But essentially, she's just talking about like, someone asked like, "Did you vote for Trump?" So it flew at the wall behind her, landed on the floor, and then she just chugs it. So that is a pretty baller move.
It is.
And she was talking about how like they were asked, did you vote for Trump? And she's like, what do you think? And he said no. And she's like, okay. And then so like the girl was like upset with her, like wondering if she's voting for Biden and stuff. And Ariel was kind of like, I don't care who you voted for, like you can vote for whatever you want. So I'd say like, yeah, she was not a Trump supporter, but she also wasn't like being antagonizing or anything.
No.
Like
she was being really chill considering she was being yelled at like during the set. Like, I mean, it's not like she didn't have a Bill Burr reaction. If Bill Burr had been heckled on set like that, the screaming that he would have
done. She was just kind of like laid back about it, and kind of joking, making some jokes and stuff too. But like the drunk girl, like I don't care if you are a Trump supporter, like you sound like a drunk, annoying white girl though. Like I would not want you at my comedy set either. And then whoever the asshole was to like throw a at least fairly full beer can at someone, though, like, yeah, that's the initiation of the use of force. Not cool.
I know the yelling is like inappropriate, but reasonable for the most part. Like it's not illegal.
Yeah.
The venue might kick you out because they don't want you to disturb everyone else, and that's fair. But like when you threw a beer at someone, you took it too far, obviously.
And Papana is asking to see the whole clip. So if you have the 2 minutes, are you okay with watching it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll watch this for you, Papana.
What's your question? Did I vote for Donald Trump? What do you think? No. Okay. Here's a question for you. Why would you ask me that in here, knowing I'm the only Jew in this room? Are you trying to get me killed? If it makes you feel any better, I vote in New York. My vote doesn't matter there. It doesn't matter here either. It doesn't matter, guys. Everybody vote for whoever you want to vote. I don't care who you voted for. I'm just happy we're all here together.
So you voted for Biden.
I don't know. Why does it matter? Yeah, so what? Why does it matter?
I can just tell by your jokes you voted for Biden.
Why are we going
all right. I can tell by the fact that you're still talking when nobody wants you to that you voted for Trump. All right, make some noise if you want her to shut up. But I did ask if anybody had any questions. I didn't think it was going to be. That's on me. That was on me for thinking I could have a human interaction with somebody. That's my fault. Oh, look, I'm such an insecure person. Here, I'll tell you the rest of that bit, and then we'll move on. I'm so insecure. I went and got an ID. Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah. Come on, buddy. Thank you. Are you fucking kidding me? Yo, I'm never coming out with these people ever again. Straight up.
Who was the one who said, "Are you fucking kidding me? I'm never coming out with this"? Was it someone else? Was it the guy who threw it, or was it someone who was like, "Hey, I don't want to be a part of this group anymore"?
I couldn't exactly hear it, but it was. I mean, God, it was just insane. And I could see like being actually out with friends and someone does that, and you're like, "What the fuck, man?" I mean, that's how I would react.
Yeah, like that's not cool. Actually, there was a couple at the Ryan Long show. There was a couple like they sat up front, and they said that was their first date, but they were like really I think they were just already wasted. But like he was like kind of talking loudly, and like the intro acts and stuff, I think talked to them too about like, you know, like, hey, like, you know, you're talking loud. And then the girl, like, when Ryan was up, the girl like kept like talking and stuff too. And so when he addressed them, she's like, I'm telling him to be quiet. And he laughed because he's like, so you're just being louder about talking about to him about how he needs to be quiet, but like you're the one that's, and eventually they just got asked to leave. But
yeah.
the
reason why someone asks someone to leave from a show for being loud isn't because they don't have the right to talk, but because everyone else there paid to watch the people on the stage, not to listen to the jackasses down in the seats.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I don't care to hear you. If you want to talk, then you get your own platform. Like, you go up, get a set and do an open mic or something. But yeah, like that's what, and I'm okay too. Like I like Trump, but then I was okay with her response about like, hey, like because like that was a good response as far as just like a comedian to kind of like heckle back at the heckler of like, oh yeah, like you're not talking, but so, and because like she was being very obnoxious, so yeah, and someone in chat said it was rude, but then Papana said it was rude, and then Med, the simple thinker, said not just rude, it's literally violent. Yes, throwing a filled beer can at someone's head, like not cool. Even if he's like, I'm not aiming directly at it, like it doesn't matter,
No.
Whatever your excuse is going to be, like don't do that. Like I hope you're banned from that location.
Yeah, because that was ridiculous. Like you're not. I don't care that who she voted for. What, and she has a point. I voted in New York. My vote didn't matter.
It doesn't count.
So,
but then she's cool enough too to say like she's not preaching about it. Like vote for whoever you want. Like I don't care. I'm just happy we're all together. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Like I'm down for that. Then like rather than everyone else that I hear like you're anything along the lines of GOP or evil. Like I saw that a lot in Chicago. So like I'm fine with her reaction. Like even if it's left leaning, like I can tell by your jokes that you voted for Biden. Like, but then other people are like, why are you making this political? So she apparently wasn't saying political stuff. She was just like, it might have alluded to like, yeah, you probably fall along that line, but when you're not preachy about it.
Well, there's kind of a problem right now where you say X and everyone hears the whole goddamn alphabet. Like where like they believe this one thing and they express this belief in this one tiny thing, and people hear everything else in that belief, like all their other stances, and it's like you can't assume that. You absolutely cannot.
But they really do.
But they do, and they get really pissed about it. Like I can't tell you the number of times I've had this interaction where like, this happened to me recently where like someone was trying to say that it was stupid that the FDA was talking about possibly having alcohol now list their ingredients and nutrition. And I actually want that. I want that because of my food intolerances. That would be so fucking helpful for me navigating what I can and cannot eat from drink from the alcohol perspective, because right now I'm just guessing. And whereas like I know that a lot of people don't always like government interference, and I agree with that, but this has been helpful in my life. Like I can't survive without this. So some things, and that made them think that I believe the government should be involved in everything. And I'm like, it's such a tiny thing to say, and you think that means everything. I want the government to tell me how to live my life. I'm like, no, I don't want them to tell me how much alcohol I should or should not drink. I want companies to be forced to tell me what the fuck is in what I'm consuming. I think that's a fair requirement, and not necessarily have the government tell them to do it, but no one else is going to tell them to fucking do it at the moment. So, but everyone, they heard that and they thought I meant I want the government to control my entire life. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's quite a leap.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, like I would say that like, the incentive without having like federal any government involvement would be like, I'm not going to be purchasing products that I don't know what's in here though. So then like the incentive for the business is to like provide these things so that way people know. But then there are a lot of people who don't care. So like I understand
the entire alcohol industry won't do it if like they're just not going to do it. Like a lot of industries, once they're like to a certain point, they won't they're not innovative at all. Like it seems like I'm gonna try to put pot in alcohol as the next innovation for
Right,
alcohol. Which
yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Well, that's what, like, I mean, there's personal things where you're like, oh, like, maybe I shouldn't. I'll even say like national like parks and stuff too. Where I'm like, that's one thing that I'm kind of okay with, like having government help take care of that. Like, I like preserving like the nature and stuff too. So it's, but it's like I don't like federal government at all, and I'm like okay if it's, but like if it exists, there are certain things where I'm like, like you should take care of this thing here, like this, if we're gonna have you, then they're like small things. So but then, and there's some things too, I'm like, oh, I personally I'd want this, I don't think it's right, and I probably wouldn't advocate for it, but this is something that I would want. So like I have that kind of thing too.
Well, to me, the thing about the food labels stuff is that the government did force that on the food industry. And if they basically said, we're not going to force you to do that anymore, most food companies at this point would keep doing it because it's like, well, all of our customers expect it.
Yeah.
You know, like even if the government said, do it for a while, we're not gonna, and just try it, see if the customer wants it. And it's like,
even
do you want it?
Honestly, like even if I don't read all of like or understand all the ingredients in something though, like if it didn't have anything, I guess it depends on it though, like, but I would probably not purchase it though. I probably would stick to more like whole, and I already am trying to do more whole like foods and stuff rather than like, boxed or whatever kind of stuff. Just for the more natural, like, and healthier things. But like, I feel like, yeah, I would stray away even more just because like, I have no idea what they're putting in here though. Like, what if I like negatively affect, or like, and even if I'm like, I think I'm fine with this thing and then I get sick, I'm like, well, I want to know what was in it to figure out, like, do I have an allergy to this or something? And now I have no idea because like, what was in it? So at least that helps too. So,
well, and that's the thing, is that my intolerances do react to alcohols. I just don't know which ones necessarily. I know I can't have tequila or rum.
What? That's so sad.
Yeah.
Rum is like the only one that I actually like the flavor of.
I loved margaritas. Loved them.
Really?
Like classic margaritas. Loved them. And then Diet Coke with lime with tequila in it. So good. Irish coffees, with Kahlua in them. Now I just have to buy coffee with Cory. But like, it's like, yeah, like I know those two are no-goes. But I have, when they start doing all these flavored alcohols and beers, I have no idea. Like no idea whether or not I can have it. Like I'm guessing. And sometimes I guess wrong.
Trial and error.
Yeah, I know. Not that beer. Fuck that beer.
All right. Well, the last thing, real quick, it was just, I don't know if I don't have anything to play, but just to say that comedy legend John Cleese joins new British free speech channel because what did he say that it was, would John Cleese return to the BBC? And he says, not on your Nelly, because I wouldn't get 5 minutes into the first show before I'd been canceled or censored. So then he's joining the free, what is it called? GB News. So I thought that was good because I thought he was a bit woke or something. Like I forget what he had said in the last couple of years. I thought he said something that was like lefty.
He's like on the edge of both. Like,
yeah,
he's kind of woke liberal, but at the same time, he's always held free speech to be like highly valuable.
So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, like over the idea of being a woke liberal kind of guy is, more important is the free speech.
Yeah, which is great. I'm like, okay, like if you're trying, like, you're being misled by some of the silly things of wokeism, but as long as you're standing your ground, that like, I don't care about the woke stuff. If you're trying to shut me up, that like, I'm not okay with that. Like, that's where I draw the line. So, I do really appreciate that, and I think like John Cleese has always been funny. Like I've always enjoyed him.
He has this great old thing where he talks about politics. It's from the 70s or 80s. I can't quite remember it, where he says like, oh, how the left and the right talk to each other and how they hate all these other people. And basically he's saying that both of them are hateful in some way because they're tribalistic.
Mhm.
And he gives a list of the people they each hate. The list does not make sense anymore, honestly. But then, like, at the end of both lists is moderates.
Yeah.
Which that's the part that killed me, because I was like, damn, this is so old, and they still hate people in the middle. They still can't stand them. We're always,
You gotta
like,
take a strong stance.
yeah, centrists are always like, there's that joke like, oh, both sides have good arguments, and like one of them is like, I'm against genocide, and the other one is pro-genocide, and it's like, no, I'm pretty fucking sure most of us are against genocide, okay?
Yeah.
It's such a stupid, like, straw man. It's a straw man.
Mhm. Yeah. I always just like to say that I'm not on anyone's side. Not on your side.
I know.
Because then you end up disagreeing. Like, I think you have to be careful, because I've had that issue where, like, oh, I'm, you fall prey to like idealizing someone, you put them on a pedestal, and then we're like, oh, you said this thing that, like, wow, that's a bad take, and then like it just shatters. So I have to be like, no, I need to know that I agree with this thing that they're saying, but like we're different people, and you probably will have like something that I think is stupid later on, and then
I
just
think
kind of.
it's kind of a balancing act. Like with John Cleese, it's like some stupid, oh no, it's some good thing.
Yeah.
Some good. Whereas like I was following Stephen King for the longest time because
Oh,
I'm a writer, and I was like, stupid.
Once that happens too, then I'm just like, unfollow, or like,
yeah, I know.
it, like unbalances that much, or I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I can take a little bit of both, but when someone is like, I did that with James, that physical therapist guy that I shared it for occasional levity, is that he said some stupid things, but he also said some really good things, now he's done more good things, I think. But yeah, like some people though, that stupid just keeps rising to the top. You have to stop listening to them.
Right. G-Man also says, I remember Beverly's first bad take. It crushed me. I'm sorry that I did that to you, but I also assume it was the very first thing I said, because they're all bad takes. Never said anything good. So then you got really used to it. Or just like, oh yeah, everything she says is bad. Well, I think that's all that I have left, and you got to get to your other stream here in a minute too. So
yes, and eat. My food arrived.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I wish I had food that arrived. Lucky. Looking around, hopefully, that I'm like, do I just have food sitting in here?
You do have a cat sitting on the back of your chair.
Right. I will eat him. The computer, huh? They're gonna do it too. But all right. Well, thank you guys. Stevie G says I have no bad takes, just transitory foolishness. Yeah, that sounds worse, I think. Hi, Cory, you're gonna turn off the computer again? Let's just stay here. Well, thank you guys for watching. We've got housekeeping. Didn't do that. October 30th. Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. Juliet will be doing that. I saw like a couple of them were asking like where Juliet is. It makes me feel kind of sad that we're not good enough for the chat here. That we need. They want Juliet and they're not okay with just us. Juliet will be hosting it. You can get your Juliet fix there. She's still undecided of what time she's running it though. So at any point on the 30th on Sunday, just be here all day long waiting for it. Eventually she'll let us know what time she wants to do.
2 a.m.
Tomorrow we've got Occasional Levity, and we've got Daniel Wagner from Unframe of Mind podcast. He's been on the channel a few times in the past. Cool guy. So he'll be our guest, and that'll be at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Anything else? As far as like within the next week, I don't think there's anything else that stands out. So I don't trust you. You're staying here. Okay. Yes. Well, have a good night, everyone. We'll need to, if you have suggestions of what other horror stuff we should watch for next week, let us know. Usually I just go by whatever Alex suggests, because I'm watching a lot of bad things. And then I throw out, like, I was watching these terrible things that no one's heard of. And then you're like, here are things that people have actually know about that might want to listen to. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do those ones instead.
Yeah, I know, instead of like random movie.
Yeah. Won't talk about these bad movies that are on Amazon Prime. You're staying here. But okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Alex. Oh, I guess I'll post this in chat after a cat's not in my hands though. But go follow Alex on her channel, Alex of All Trades. And let me get it. Oh, actually, I'll get it up now.
I am going to be streaming tonight.
Ugh,
More
oh my
Resident
God.
Evil.
He just stepped on my bladder.
Ow.
I need to go pee. Wait, where are you at? Alex of All Trades. You're lucky that you have the name too, for like youtube.com/c/Alex of All Trades -Maselli. Because mine, you have to be like the monetize and stuff too, and I have, but actually
you did it before monetization, but it's a step up. Like,
they have, so there's something, I'm not close at all to it. However, they actually do give you early on, they that they let you choose your username. So technically you can still go, instead of the long string of letters and numbers and stuff, you can go to youtube.com/the sorceress princess is the name that I had chosen, because that was my username that I used when I was like 12 and RPG.
I love
text
that.
RPGs online. So like that, but I'm waiting until I can actually like change it so it still works. But unfortunately, that is just my life.
That's funny.
So those
I
are
am clicking on it. Oh, I can't click on it.
because it'll just show it.
Yeah, it just shows it.
But yeah, so that's currently the name of it that I made. Because again, this was back in 2006. Okay, don't judge. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Go check out Alex on her channel, and we will see you all. We'll see you again. We'll see you all tomorrow. You better be there.
Yeah.
See you all tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Julia will be there, so
yeah, she's the best part of the three of us.
Apparently.
The only one that people want to watch.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for sticking around until the end. If you're new to Unsafe Space, check out our deep content library that includes discussions with everyone from James Lindsay to Brett Weinstein. And please consider helping to fund our work by visiting unsafespace.com/donate. You can find us on a variety of social media platforms, and you can find a community of like-minded individuals on our Unsafe Space Discord server, which is open to financial supporters at any level. We hope to see you there.
Warning. This is an unsafe space. Dangerous ideas have been detected. The content of this production is known by the state of California to cause unregulated ideation that may be harmful to bureaucrats. Association with the following individuals or tacos is strictly prohibited. Apropos of nothing, I was just wondering, how would you feel about another pandemic? Your president is in full control of his mental faculties. If you think about it, no one should be allowed to express opinions. But don't. Think about it, I mean. That's not your job. Thinking has been scientifically proven to be less efficient than compliance. Science, scientific, and scientifically are registered trademarks of the World Economic Forum. Unauthorized use is prohibited. Computer voice courtesy. Never mind, that last line is fake news. Please disregard it and return to your safe space immediately. There will be cake.
Okay, this is for Winky. He wanted me to play the guitar earlier, but I'm gonna just do ukulele for a second. It's out of tune, but here you go, Winky. All right, bye.